welcome to Human Design Hotline. We will be talking all about the stars. I've actually been looking at a little bit more about the only astrology book you'll ever need and doing a little bit of filming today. I'm just going to find some good music that we can listen to in the background. So let's see here. Some of our chiller vibes. Let's see. Maybe this has a little bit of the vibe that would be good for us. Hi. Hello, my fellow HVAC. Hi, Larry. How are you? How are you feeling after yesterday? Actually, it's perfect that you're here because you reminded me, and I'll do it simultaneously, that I will actually send you the recording. So it'll take a little bit of time to upload and send it to you, as well as for you to download it, because we talked for a minute. So just be prepared. But it was a great conversation, and I'm so excited to see like what this next week, month, year brings for you, because I know it's a lot of exciting things. Let's see. It's funny, my Spotify has been very Mercury retrograde today and not playing. Let's reset this. Here. And Larry, meet Trick. Trick, meet Larry. Hi, Nini, how are you? Hi, Anne, it's good to see you. Oh, how was Reiki? Oh my gosh. What came up and what chakras did they talk about? Because I'm curious to see how they related to your energy centers in human design. Because there's an overlap there for sure. Nini, we were talking about that. Hi, gorgeous. How are you, Anna? In true manifesting generator fashion, I ran out of time to answer your DM via Instagram before I hopped on. I know you understand, but my usual disclaimer anyway. I'm going to light my magic genie lamp. Let's see. I think Spotify is going to... I think it's not using the... They make the browser difficult, so you download the app. I feel like I have it on my computer. Let's see. Let's see. Nope. Didn't do it either. Let's see. Okay. Oh, and I have my incense right here. I don't know. Should I do red rose or jasmine? Do you guys want to pick my incense of the evening? I'll grab my other one just in case you say jasmine. We can see what we're feeling. I feel like it could go both ways. Red rose. Okay. Jasmine. I got these from the cutest metaphysical store, a newer store in like this little cute town in Pennsylvania. And like I've never seen this brand before, or used it before, but it's really, really nice. And I just love the red rose. It's like more like romantic vibes, which I think we're kind of feeling today. Harmonize the mind and creates a romantic atmosphere. Very, very spa-like. Okay. Oops, as I crush my cone. And this is really cute. I got this in a town called Jimthorpe in Pennsylvania. You guys may or may not have heard of it. They call it like the Switzerland of Pennsylvania, I think, or the United States, because it's really cute and it has like a Hogwarts type like train. So yeah, both are cursed, kinda. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you mean the incense or what? Or Spotify? What part were you responding to? Unless I didn't see anything else. Wait, hold on. Larry said it was amazing. Blocked root and heart for obvious reasons. Well, yeah, that's like nail on the head. You're like, yeah, I could have told you that, but it's helpful to have somebody say it. Had a cord attached to my sacral. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh my God, Devin, that's so funny. Look at the kind of girl who sings it loud and proud in the car. I mean, hey, if that's what you see in me, congratulations, but no. Trick Light, I'm sitting in on the CEO radio on the Neptune Discord and Ashley at the same time, bringing the 5-1 Manifestor vibes. I love that. It's so funny. I actually saw that somebody had commented on one of her videos, like, this girl like gave me a bad vibe or whatever. And I was like, talk about like being a manifester in action, where it's like a whole like, not my circus, not my monkeys. Like either you like, you're either gonna like her or you're not. So people are either gonna love the Neptune app or they're gonna be like, this is the worst app, like blah blah blah. Just have something to say, and we can kind of read between the lines between why certain people may be incentivized, if you will, to write or comment that. So interesting to take note of. But yeah, we'll see how that pans out. And I'll read your comment in a second, Nini. I'm laughing. Okay. Let me see. And the great question is, what is my Spotify password? That is a great question. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to drop in the chat as I'm getting my act together over here and trying to get some good music for you, please let me know. It feels like eerily quiet in my room right now in a good way. Like it's not like creepy, but it's just like I'm unused to having the music take me this long. No. That. Yeah, it's so funny. It's like it says it's playing, but we can't actually hear anything. And my audio is good. Network connection failed while playing this content. Well, don't fail. I don't know what to tell you. I'm wondering if it's trying to play. Let's see if it plays this. There we go. I had a feeling it was doing this, and the reason why. And hello, Ryan. I'll answer you guys in a second. So when I filmed for you guys in Patreon, who are in my Patreon, a pre-recorded video for Saturday, because I will be traveling. And I am having you guys guess where I'm traveling. Larry knows just because I spoke with him. But all that to say that I share my sound in Zoom to Spotify so that when I'm playing music, it doesn't sound like grainy and like weird. And if I'm playing it on my computer and it's recorded via Zoom, so there's like a specific way that like you can include the music in there. I don't even know if you guys can usually hear this most of the time, but it makes me feel like I'm not talking to myself completely when I'm here. My usual grounding ritual. But yeah, so let me go ahead and see where are we at? Listen, nothing, glasses of a house, forehead of a table. Okay, elbow of an animal. I don't know. What are you saying? Let's see. That would be funny if I put you as a moderator by accident. But you can go on timeout. There you go. Let's see. Where are we? Nini was saying something first about sisters that I wanted to see. Two of my sisters, stepsister named Jasmine. Oh, and half sister. That's crazy. With the last name Rose. You're like, can't I just get away from them and have some time by myself without being haunted by them? Jeez. That's so funny. Thank you, Orion. I appreciate that. So cute. I love the sweater. It's so cozy and like fun. Right? She was a huge influencer for so long and had to field so much crap. Oh, I didn't even know she was an influencer like that. Would you rather Gabe or Orion? That's funny. Yes, it's helpful. My energy is through the roof now. It was so cool. And also started White Lotus. I'm so glad. I'm so excited to hear. Yeah, it's so funny. Orion and Nini, you being the same way. You're like, I'll answer to Sonia or Nini, whatever you prefer. I haven't heard of March Madness, though. Washed out. That's so funny. I was actually walking and washed out. I was in an area where there was like little service. And that was one of the songs that I thought of you. I love Title. I miss it. Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know if like I didn't know if it was like still a thing, like, or if it left. Yeah. Aw. I'm not going to Connecticut or an island, although both sound beautiful. And it's funny you said Connecticut because I had an artist. Yeah, and Anna shaking my head, weirdo, get out of here. Yeah, you're not like wrong space. Like this is like not an area for you. But yeah, I have an artist that I used to work with that actually lives in Connecticut, and I did like I was like hosting virtual art workshops for him during COVID, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But we always mention he has like this kind of like castle-esque space in his home or like on his like property. So I always wanted to go and visit, and I was like, maybe Connecticut is in the cards. Maybe we're manifesting that. And I realize now March Madness I thought it was like a TV show, but I know March Madness from basketball. We just went to closing my curtains. We just went to a hockey game, and I've really been enjoying hockey. Like, I love sports in person. I just don't have as much of the attention span to watch them like on a TV. Like, I like the vibe of being there, and I also just love like studying like the people. Like, I don't know, it's just such an interesting like people watching thing. And there's this like ticket that you can pay for that's not terribly expensive. It's a little bit more of like a bump up in price, but you can, for the hockey place, you can basically get like a meal incorporated, and the food was really good. We've been enjoying like going and like getting dinner and then making that like a random like weekday date. It's like maybe like an hour, little over an hour from our house, so it's not terrible. Ashley was calling Mafia. She went through the whole thing and then was like, let's make a new app for creators. Oh, I love that. Good for her. Yeah, I don't know her from that vein. Like I didn't know her until Neptune, actually. What am I gonna do this? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Let me see, but it's mostly remnants of growing. Oh, let me see. Golden State Warriors fans. Yeah, out of my realm of understanding for sure. Haunted by the past, exactly. You started that. One of my old migraine removal blueprints. Does it have a T in the name? I don't know. No, it doesn't have a T in the place's name. I was trying to think of what you're talking about. At first, I'm like all me going in like having 8 different conversations simultaneously. But yeah, I was like my mood was like so all over the place today. Like I was like trying to track it, but I had like, I know with my gate 5, like if I have a certain amount of things planned that I don't get to get done, right? Like it really throws me off. And if it's like a couple days where that's happened, I'm like, oh, which is like, honestly, whenever there's planets retrograde, I always feel that way. But a question. Hi, Bunches. How are you? Hi, Tom. Welcome. When Anna, the question that you had for me as a follow-up to another question was about like working a 9 to 5 and then working like a spiritual job. Anyone else like a spiritual entrepreneur here or like wants to be and grow in their spiritual entrepreneurship? Because I can answer for more than just Anna as well. And I had one of my generator clients that reached out to me too and was like, oh, I really want to know what this answer would be based on like for a generator or projector. I have like the classes that I'm doing for you guys in Patreon next month are so good. Like I practiced the exercise and used Larry as my guinea pig during our reading yesterday. And he was like, I love this. And I was like, okay, amazing. Because I literally just like channeled this lesson today. And like most of it is like channeling and kind of thinking about like, well, what do you guys practically need? Like what's kind of happening right now in our world, and what would make sense and so helpful. Yeah. Okay, Nini. Yeah. So for Nini and for D, Diana, I was for some reason I was getting you confused with Dwadaki, who's another one of our beautiful members that's here. What was I gonna say? So having a 9 to 5, and then how do you set up your day so that you make sure that you don't get burnout? So I can speak to personal experience from this, and then, we can talk about how you may feel it's automatically like overwhelming for your energy type, or just kind of see where it resonates, and we can kind of workshop this together as a little bit of a helpful teaching moment. And so me being a manifesting generator. So when I was still working a 9 to 5 job, and I knew that I was like, okay, I committed to being like, human design is my thing. Like that's where I wanted to go. I was like, I need at least a half hour, 5 days a week, if not 7, right? To pursue my intended career path. So I already knew, like some data I already knew that I had already responded to is that I don't like being in an office and being around people 8 hours a day. I'm way too sensitive for that, right? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm way too sensitive for that. Just because it's never for me just about the work that I have to get done. I'm like, I was always the person that's like helping the person that's next to me that was crying or going through a breakup, on our lunch break sort of thing. Like I just have that, I'm a helper by nature and I love helping people, obviously. So I'm like, okay, well, what's actually like a real problem, in life, not about like some whatever BS that we're paid to work on, right? So one of the things I should say first is that I made a commitment to make that 9 to 5 job become the side hustle that was funding what I wanted my main hustle to become. So it was like an energetic mindset shift of being okay, not being 100% perfect at my 9 to 5 job, and then making them and refactoring my energy for them to believe that what was my 75% or even 50%, right, was actually what they thought my 100% was, right? Still really good, but we're really hard on ourselves, Nini, right? Like we want to be perfect. We want to show them how good we are, right? And I think, especially for a lot of us, especially for a lot of folks that have an undefined ego motivation center, it's like a sense of worthiness is supposed to come from our job, but it's not finding that worthiness in a job that we don't really want to do forever, right? So yeah, there you go. Yes. So it's like not letting that happen, right? Like all the time. Finding worth in our 9 to 5. Committing to a half hour or 1 hour every single day, right? So Anna's question was like, if I'm also doing client sessions in those 9 to 5 hours, it's a couple things that are going to happen, right? You're going to have days where you book with clients, and this sometimes happens to me too, where something happened and I was really tired or something exhausted me throughout the day and I had a rougher day today. My energy was all over the place, but I know that once I get here, it's like going to the gym. I never feel bad after I work out. I never feel bad after I'm on live with you guys because it's what I love to do, right? It's such a passion. I love connecting with you guys. I love seeing like the aha moments, giving you tips that are actually practical where like you can leave here and tonight and act on something that I've given you, or go ahead and plan to do whatever I've helped you with, plan to do that the next day, right? Those types of things. So in terms of like adding it on where like you have client work, I would decide like what would be a number that you would feel satisfied by every week for the number of client sessions that you would do. And know that like the more booked out you are, that's desirable for people, for you to say, hey, I don't have any time for the next 2 weeks because, I'm limited on my time. I say you only do 2 client sessions. They don't have to know the number if you don't want to share that, right? That's up to your discernment. But booking time out, right? Like that's okay. Say maybe you have a number goal for the finance goal that you want to make through, your client sessions. If it's like, I don't know, say my 1 hours are 150. So say I had a, $300 number goal at the beginning of my journey and I wanted to book 2, 1 hour sessions a week. And that was what I could do. I hit my finance goal. or through 2 readings, for example, right? So just to kind of use that as an example, if I could take a shot every time I say example, but yeah, 7, you're right. Yeah, I think the love of my work will help. It's true. And knowing that, like, do you have a 5 in your chart, Anna? Did we talk about that? I know we would have talked about that, but I can't remember if you have a 5 in your chart. I have to log in. Okay. Yeah, but let me know if you have a gate 5, Anna, and then I'll go from there. I'll look up in a second, but I just forgot I wanted to put Larry's recording in. Okay, yeah. We'll check at the same time. Okay. That's done. Oh, it's a Sag gate placement. Yes. Yes. Yeah, you're so welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Nini. So, gate 5 people, we really like, and gate 28 people, we really like specific metrics that we can hit. So, like, Larry, you have both. So, it's like, okay, 1 week my goal is going to be this, then next week it's going to shift. We talked a little bit about that, right, yesterday. And so every week it's going to be different. But for me as a gate 5 person, like, I know what pretty much every day, generally speaking, what it's going to look like. And you're fine. We'll keep doing that with each other. You're fine. But yeah, so for me, it was like, what's the priority? Certain days I feel like doing content, certain days I'm more extroverted. So like Monday, yes, Orion, exactly. Sunday, Monday are like my introverted days. Like, I like to be a person that is at home. Like, I'm not talking to people on a Monday. Like, Mondays just always feel a little bit sleepier. Mondays are ruled by the moon, which are about our internal world and our emotions. So generally speaking, although not for everybody, Monday is generally more of an introverted day, right? That's a little bit of a sneak peek that I am walking you guys through in Patreon for this month. So just to say that. But Monday may not be the day that you're going, okay, yeah, there you go. Line 2 hermit days, exactly. And I don't have either. That's okay. These are just like, if you don't have them, it's not to say that for you bunches that you can't use this energy, but it's going to be like a different energy, especially if like you're getting into a flow of a new work or a new job. Like, your schedule is going to be changing, right? Gate 5 people, we don't adapt to change very quickly. Although as a man gen with the gate 5, it's a little bit more expedited than average. But giving ourselves the grace to kind of have that contraction, that expansion is also important to take note of. Yeah, so I hope that, let me know if that answered your question fully, or that gave you some more info, or if you guys have any follow-up questions after that. But I would say, like, honestly, the first year of like really being like, okay, I'm going to do this and pursue my entrepreneurship, it does feel like trying to ride 2 horses at one time, or like 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brakes, which is generally just like the astrology of this time. It's like we're trying to do 2 things at once. Like, okay, every week I tried this, but this didn't work out. It's like you kind of have to be a shark that keeps swimming, which can be a little bit naturally exhausting. But the best way I can describe it is like this, almost like this soul pull that's like pulling your heartstrings tethered to future you, of where you know you're gonna go, so you know it's worth it. Like, if I am really tired, I'm like, what are the essentials of what I have to get done today? Like, for me, I'll give you an example, right? I ran out of time today between my calls and my recording that I had to do to prepare for the weekend. And I didn't film a TikTok for today. And I've been working my way through the Saturn in all of the houses, because I've got a lot of questions from that video that went semi-viral in the lens of astrology talk. And so I wanted to make sure that I did that all week, right? So I was like, you know what, instead of me like doing the clips of like, you know, that keep people engaged and those kind of like things that usually keep people like their attention, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to talk for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And you know what? The people that are meant to see it that have Saturn in the 8th house will listen. I'm not trying to make every video that I have the most viral video. Of course, my goal is to reach more people to get this information to help them. And it helps my metrics. But if the only thing that's stopping me from filming the content is like me not doing it perfect, then that's not a good mindset for an entrepreneur to have. It's like 60%, 75% of the work, or it being 60%, 75% done. It's like a very generator man gen. Done is better than perfect. And I think generally speaking, not even just for man gens, when you're first starting off in business, you just have to be like, done is better than perfect, solely for flexing the muscle of consistency that you're getting yourself into the habit of posting, right? There are still things, and this is no matter what, it's like having body dysmorphia. You can hit your goal weight and you're still going to find something that you feel like is wrong with you, right? Like Anna, you posting the story last night, and I'll read your comments in a second. Like, you know, I work on my hair, and I know that the one day that I'm just busting around in my closet, you know, like feeling like I'm just organizing and I don't go out, like I'm not going to a concert, I'm not going to see Sleep Token, I'm not going to, you know, to work today, like that's when my hair is perfect. And you're like, you know what, I'm still going to capture this moment. My hair is going on my Instagram story. Exactly. It's like, it has to be, especially as generators and mangens. And again, I was saying this to Larry yesterday. It's like we need to give ourselves more data to respond to, but that's true solely from a business perspective. You need to have testers, you know, or people that test out your stuff, but so you know who you're actually speaking to. And sometimes that shifts. My audience has definitely shifted over time. You guys, most of you know at this point, I think all of you that are here know at this point, I worked in arts and music management. I still talk and work with certain artists, but in a very different capacity because my audience is more general. A lot of creative people. I think every one of you in here is creative in some way, shape, or form, but it's different, right? So some other things to say. I'm thinking of my cycling gate 5 and 9. Yes, always alternating and posting on and off. Yeah, especially that 9, like, and 2 Sag placements together. It makes sense. It did, Brenna. I feel clearer about it. I'll set a goal of clients I want to see in a week and pick a few days I'm open for readings. I'll start 2 to 3 days a week. Yeah, and I think on those days, like, don't feel like you have to do content as the same day that you're reading for people. So it's kind of like the batching concept where like my readings are on this day, my content creation is on this day. So you're not trying to get it all done at one time. I cycle back between both. Sometimes I do batches, right? This is why I like to work with the seasons of the year, right? More things I'll talk about in Patreon, but I cycle through seasons of the year. So like one day I may do my batching every Friday, and then I may wake up one day and I'm like, okay, there's some sort of change with the season. I more so feel like focusing on batching one type of content, but then I may film my TikToks as I go, right? Which is what has happened this week at least. So using myself as a real life example, I just still make sure that I know that that I'm keeping my finger on the pulse of like making sure that I'm getting to my people and flexing that it's the muscle, right? And then it just becomes like all of a sudden it's like yoga. All of a sudden you can do a split, right? Like you don't even realize, you don't remember when you didn't even know how to do a split, or like you were like, oh my God, I'll never be able to do that. It becomes second nature. The silver thread connecting you to your most probable future self. Q jumping. Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. Save that for your archive of stuff to say. Yeah, I like that. Thank you. I literally have all the blueprints. Just convinced myself that I don't want to be canceled. Yeah, and I think it's like, if you're canceled by people that like you don't even really like or respect anyway, like you're not really canceled. Like as long as you're being respectful, right? And like you're not saying anything that's like actually harmful to people, like it's okay. But like for me, like I have people that will comment, like whoever that like Jordan person who could still be here. I muted them. Hi Jordan, if you're still here. But like that's not my ideal audience. Like if somehow I stumbled across their For You page, right? Maybe there's somebody who likes to harass astrologers because they don't believe in astrology. That's fine. But like if you want to, you're still giving me views on my page, right? So it's like, if that's how you want to spend your time, Jordan, by all means, right? Like it does nothing but help me and waste your time for other things that you should be doing that are more important with your life, that are actually exciting for you. like that's just an L on your part for using your energy in a way that's not actually what you want. Time is one of our most precious resources, right? You guys, I always say, like, I'm so aware that, like, our time on earth, gate 28 things, is so vastly limited, and it goes really fast. And that's with the hopes that we live to, our 80s, 90s, whatever, however long. I think millennials were like, I was talking about this with a lady in Target that was helping me with my mini mic. And we were saying not too long ago how, like, like, millennials were the people that we don't know how long we're gonna live for, right? But I'm aware that, like, time is a very precious resource. Session 2, design mentorship with Brenna. Okay, I just wanted to send this too while I was on a roll with sending some things at the same time. Yeah, girl, my hair looked awful today and I went out, but yesterday it was so cute. Always the way. I've had this problem since I was younger. My teachers used to tell me to turn in partial over nothing, but the 0 is way worse than the lower grade. Yes, I love that. What a helpful, and I love that you said that, because that's such a beautiful example of, like, how to use that, right? Like, how to use that as an example and a helpful reminder. Thank you for saying that. My entire time on TikTok is a chronicle of doing that, We came up in the end to embrace your cringe. It's so true. Embrace your cringe is exactly, I'd rather be cringe and be nothing. Yeah, be weird, be cringe. Yeah, let the freak flag fly. You only have one life to live. It's so true. It's so true. I feel like I just don't care anymore. Like, I got so tired. I was so, like, insecure, yes, but I was just, like, so aware of, like, the areas that I wasn't perfect, especially just because of like, where my first house activity. And so I just got really tired of it. And I was like, people, when I'm actually myself and I don't worry, people actually love me. So why am I concerned? Like, I know that I'm a good person. And I always say I try to keep my side of the street clean. So it's like, people like that, and thank you, Nina, you say you reported him. Like, they're here for 5 seconds, and then I'm like, you're just embarrassing yourself. You guys know, I say it's like kicking down the door or opening the door to the wrong classroom and so boldly saying, like, this is science class, when, like, math is clearly on the board, and we're like, you're just embarrassing yourself by being wrong really loudly, and you picked the right one on the wrong day, right? So it's like, yeah, no, not the right people. I feel like I already got canceled, so I can't. Yeah, I think it's like I wouldn't. Yeah, can't. Well, yeah, bunches. So what is this canceled biz? To answer your question too, because I saw that and started answering it in my head as I was answering Trick out loud. Canceled means, like, when if you do something that was, like, negative, and then a bunch of people just, like, report your account. Maybe literally they cancel you or they stop engaging with your page because you did something negative, right? Yeah, it's when you say something controversial and people stop engaging with your content because of it. Yes, exactly. So it's like, people usually, in my book, like, get canceled when they say something that's like inflammatory, but in such a negative way, right? Like, things that could be dangerous or harmful to people and, like, their mental health, intentionally manipulative, like, those types of things. But, like, it depends. Like, here's a good example. So there was, hi Miko, how are you? Hannah Brenner, I think is her last name, Hannah something. And she had interviewed with, I think it was Olivia Culpo, Megan Thee Stallion on the red carpet. And Megan Thee Stallion is not, like, fighting music, right? Like, she's like when you want to be like a bad bee and, like, you're getting ready to, like, go out with your girlfriends, or, like, you want to look good on a date night, right? And she was clearly not listening to having an interview with Megan, but was more interested about just, like, being there and hyped up on the atmosphere and being on the red carpet. She's like a Netflix, like, New York comedian. That's kind of like, what are you really doing there anyway? And so it was clear that, like, she was, like, she said to Megan, like, words to the effect of, like, well, when I listen to your music, it makes me want to fight, right? And so there's such a layered cultural overtone to that, of, like, saying that to a Black woman, that, like, when you listen to her music, you want to fight, when, like, you're not listening to the lyrics at all, right? And are making a microaggression and an assumption, right? So that's, like, a cancelable offense. And also, like, why are we having Netflix people with no media training interviewing people on the red carpet, right? So it's like, it was so like, I haven't heard anything of Hannah since then. So it's like, all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, exactly. Like, what in your right mind, right? Like, why is that? Like, I'll never understand tone deaf people can be, especially when the world, like, since, I mean, what are we at? Like, since 2016, the BLM movement has been making strides to say, hey, like, can you listen to us? Then you give some idiot like that a microphone, and she proves that the case in point. So, like, people who are saying, like, we're listening to you, not everybody's listening, unfortunately, right? So it was just that, like, it was so insulting. And if you look at, like, or know anything about Megan, right, or as a good, it reminds me of The Devil Wears Prada, where Miranda Priestley made Anne Hathaway, Andy Sachs create a binder of all the people that were in that party and all of their lore, essentially, and all of their stories. And she was like, I want, even if I don't know off the top of my head who this person is, I have a right, or I have a responsibility as somebody who's being a good interviewer to know and do research about the person that I'm interviewing, right? I'm not going to show up to any interview unprepared, right? So there's a lot of that, like, arrogance of, like, making the wrong people famous right now. And I think we're seeing such a strong uptick in it because there's going to be such a harsh drop off right now. It's just, the universe is a natural sieve. People like that are in it for the wrong reasons are never going to maintain that level of fame. It's like Ash Trevino on TikTok, right? That is a very big bubble that is going to burst very quickly, and she's gonna get her what rocked in a way that is, like, not sustainable. Yeah, people are learning to respect journalism and broadcasting nowadays. Yes, by witnessing the people destroy the space and destroy their entire careers off of one comment because they couldn't be bothered to do their job right. Yeah, the stars are falling. Exactly. That's why, like, I joined Substack, and I follow a lot of independent journalists as well. And I love learning from them, where it's like, I'm not turning on the news and having all of this stuff come on at the same time. It's like, it's freeing just to also be on Substack and have that. I'm tired of not having spaces for creators to purge energy before bringing things to broadcast. It's true. And I think it's like, for me as a creator, it's like I intentionally make it my thing to purge energy before I come out here, because what I want to talk about and how I need to be present for you for the way that I know I operate is different than for what you just said, Trick, of, like, the type of importance that you need and you could purge live. And that really worked, right? To be able to have that shadow work on live stream and being a 4-1, Yeah. And as a 4-1, we are so I said the things people weren't saying to channel them through and find where it's coming from. This was also encouraged by my spiritual mentors at the time. Yeah, and I think if it's like, that's what worked. A lot of people are finding, and it's funny because there's a woman who is Scottish, I believe, and she has micro bangs and dark hair now, but she's a white woman, and she has had, like, blonde hair, Alex Taro, and I caught her live today. And she's been on for a minute, and she's been on since 2021. And it's interesting when you notice, like, how, as a business owner, again, and especially as a solopreneur, you have to be a shark that keeps swimming and rolling with it. And for me, like, it's like part of the manifesting generator game, right? It's like the swimming is part of the fun of being in the sacral now and listening to my sacral, listening to my gut. I know, again, what our end goals, we want them to be, but I'm flexible in the past that take me there. And that helps so much more to focus on the things that you can control in your day to day, right? The things that you have control over, being an educated interviewer, being aware of who you're consuming, being aware of the people that have your best interests in mind, right? And those are the things we can control, right? So I'll get off my soapbox with that for now. There are a couple other things I wanted to read. Cancellation is detrimental in healing spaces, so it would be so useful to have somatic healing spaces where we can just scream it out. Yeah, and I think it's like, for me personally, as a pure, like, with the 3420 manifesting generator channel, I find so much value in calling people out and, like, having the conversations. Although if I'm really aware that it's somebody that, like, if I try to have this conversation, I'm outsmarting them of a lesson that they're supposed to learn a little bit more loudly with somebody who is, like, really the wrong person at the wrong time that, like, taught them in the way that they were supposed to learn, that can be safe for that person. But it's like, not every situation requires me to have the conversation, right? To your point. But yeah, I also feel like for me, cancellation, it depends on the person. Like, you guys know that there's a very specific, he who shall not be named. I keep his name like Voldemort on his page because he doesn't deserve any press mentions more than usual. So please don't write his name in the comments. There's a white dude who was saying that he has fixed astrology on TikTok. I feel like that's all I have to say in and of itself. Have we not learned that we don't need another one, getting on and saying that he's fixed something that other cultures have practiced for millennia, right? Like, if you're actually aware of the astrology, if Pluto and Aquarius alone doesn't tell you, right, what are you doing in that space, right? So, like, someone like that who's just, like, take the mic away from somebody who doesn't deserve, like, that platform, that's where I'm like, the cancellation, if that's taking the mic away and we can call that cancellation, I agree with. But I think to the point of that, though, to be devil's advocate, if you will, or to go off of riffing, if that was what you meant to, of that is like, it's kind of funny to see people who are so wrong be so loud and be so loud so boldly, and like the trash takes itself out, It's like, goodbye. Thanks for solving that problem for me. Immediate unfollow. Or not even, like, immediate scroll. Immediate block. That was me, immediate block. On my Scorpio, I'm like, I just go away. Like, I don't care about you. Miko says, agreed. I like alternative news and journalist mainstream information. Yeah, it's like, there's too much. I agree, Chicken needs to be in middle spaces in order to avoid projection, but also figure out who is spreading the knowledge over lies. Yeah, it's true. And it's not even individual people at the grid level, though. Those people are showing me where energy is distorted. We should be sending energy workers to those areas instead of blaming individuals. Yeah, I feel that. Like, it's kind of like, in my way of understanding the type of work that you do without having, like, a full informed vocabulary, like astrocartography. Like, there's a general energy over this corner of the world, and it's like we're each these little individual cells that are charging this organism that are, like, creating a certain energy. I see that with the shift in New York City actually a lot. Authenticity is key right now within humanity. It's so true. Unapologetically authentic, exactly. I get told I'm evil and good daily. It's just circuit fluctuations. I'm chaotic neutral forever. It flows through us till we can flow it through structures to power a beautiful world through neutral. I love that. Yeah, oh dear, cringe, yeah. I knew you were about to talk about this. I know. Nini's like, I knew where this is going. I've seen this ending. Yeah. In some tribes, they call out the energy. They don't blame the vessel. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so, yeah, he's who shall not be named question is more like it. Yeah, exactly. Who not be questioned. Oh, my God. Yeah, he wishes. Moving the energy out of the body is key. That's fair. I agree with that. I have to wake up now. Like, I work out every single day in some capacity. And right now, as you guys know, I'm in my walking era, and I walk on my walking pad, but I shifted it to the mornings because there was just something about, like, that shift in the season that it just felt good to do that then instead of doing it at the same time of live. I, like, needed the variation, but to still do, my grounding walking. And I forget what the hell I was saying about that, but yeah. What did I read? Moving energy out of the body. That was what it is. So I was like, there it goes. Goodbye. There goes the thought. My undefined ajna is like, it's like air flowing through there so fast. The thoughts are there. I have them, but I'm like, will we catch them? No one ever knows. That's why I have to talk so fast too, because I'm like, if I don't say it now, I'll forget. We don't need it fixed. You need it to flow. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to put it too. Like, I feel like for me in that way, and this is where I feel like we connect too, is like, I understand the meaning, but it's like the vocab that I know. And this is where I said this to my dad, and it was so funny because my dad, and I don't know if you're still here, but you'll appreciate this, is a generator with an undefined throat, like my dad. And I remember looking at my brother and looking at my dad and saying to both of them, like, I know exactly what the two of you are saying in your own vocabulary. Here's how you need to word it so that the both of you are talking about the same thing and you're arguing, but you want the same outcome, right? Like, here's how you have to say it so that he understands it. And I was always like, why is that not obvious to people? And I realized that was a gift that I have, right, of being intuitive, right? To say, like, okay, like, I have that. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I said Anna. I love that you're still here, but Anne, who's our generator with the undefined throat here. So my dad was like, wow, I never thought of it that way. So it's an undefined throat thing. Yeah, strength training base. I love that. And I'll go through phases too, like of doing like body weight exercises. I take bar classes too. go through phases with that, or like actually going in the gym. It just depends on, like, there's different things that I need, like based on where my body needs to match my physical energy. Yeah, yeah, there you go. So like if I feel naturally strong already, maybe I need, yes, and maybe I need something that feels a little bit more like allowing me to flow in that movement, right? But maybe there are times where like I already feel pretty flowy and I need to build my strength. So it's like I'm very in tune of like the cycles of my body too. Which is again having the space, getting the nervous system regulation to know what my body's telling me, right? Oh, you cry when you're working out too? Yeah, I mean, it's releasing so much energy. It's like stretching in our hips. Oh my God, yeah. I believe it. It's like that it hurts so good sort of thing, I feel like too. Yeah, to me it's all true. It's like a cosmic sushi train. We don't have to eat everything though. Yeah, I love that. It's okay to fix something in place, but we often fix problems in place instead of letting it flow until the reality we want shows up to amplify. Yeah, and I feel like even like I'm having a hard time understanding what you mean by that specifically. Like I have to like break it down and knowing your like vocal inflection. And I think like what would be like fixing something in place? Like if I were to fix, like say we're talking about like 9 to 5s, if I were to fix something that's consistently annoying in my job, like my relationship with my boss, but we often fix problems in place instead of letting it flow. So instead of letting my boss naturally do whatever they have to do, right, instead of letting it flow until the reality we want shows up to amplify, and then we get what we want because we didn't fix the situation with our boss. It's hot. Yeah, it's like I think with having so much fixed energy and then Mars and my Mercury on my ascendant, it's like I'm ready to, when something doesn't happen, like I'm very confrontational and being like, that was bad. This is like what I know that I want to be true. I don't like that you treated me that way. That wasn't fair. Be nicer to this person. I love that. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Like it's very easy for me to have my words come to me very quickly and to express what I'm feeling. It's like harder to be like, oh, like let me shove the words back in my mouth, right? And like also, you know, like I never do it if I don't feel like it's not to be like mean or dominating, you know? But yeah, so for me, it would be like letting it flow. I don't really know if I know what that means, like in the essence of what would be like how to translate your language, right? I just want a studio I can do my glow, poi, and flow arts again. Yeah, I mean, just having a space of grounding that's your own is like so valuable. Like I'm a caves person. Like I would literally, if I didn't have anywhere to go, I probably would literally find a cave in a mountain and be like, I live here now. I'm off the grid now. I'm okay. I'll go into town and backpack, you know? Oh, tantric channels, I will explain them as best I can in the confines of what I can say on this application. As you know, if you were ever a kid that got curious about the tantric book that was at the checkout line in those little sections or those little squares at Barnes & Noble, that's a really good way to explain the tantric channels automatically. So like basically anything that begets kind of like a word that starts with S-O-L, action, right? It's like that co-creation, if you will, is like the lightest way that I could describe it. Let me know if you had a specific or about a question about a specific channel, because it helps me if I can respond also through maybe one of those lenses too. Or that circuit, right, is about like fertile creation energy too. Yeah. I met my first reflector today. I mean, I already knew him. I just did his chart. Oh, I love that. I was talking to with my client today about reflectors too. Yeah, 214. So 14 and 2, and then Trick, I'll read your comments together in one like chunk in a second. So the 214 channel, it creates this, it connects the sacral to the G, right? So it's this energy, the sacral energy that people are attracted to, even when you don't mean it to be, because when you are who you are as an individual, right? This is like I'm not trying to be cryptic intentionally, but I just don't know, again, like confines of what I can say, but I know I trust you to read between the lines here. But essentially it's like when you are and show up as yourself and you don't care and people know that you don't give an F, it's like very attractive to others, right? Of any gender, background, blah, 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 right? They want to capture that essence in a bottle. And so because of the circuitry, because it comes out of the sacral, it's like that very like somatic, like drum fertilization ceremony. So it's paying attention to that. Bunches, you will. we call me the reflector collector here. So I will introduce you to one. And Sony, who will be probably on TikTok live tomorrow, is a reflector. So that's also another person. She's in Patreon now too. Yeah, exactly. So gate 2 is a Taurus gate placement, which is very earthy and grounded, whereas gate 14 is a Scorpio gate placement. Gate 2 is Taurus, gate 14 is Scorpio, right? So it's like we all know Scorpio essence ruled by Mars, Taurus ruled by Venus, tantric channel, right? So paying attention to that, like you're like, why am I notice it with people who, depending on those places or spaces, like depending on what like I'm wearing when I'm out, it is true. I know it sounds like a bad cliche, but it is true. Like I know when I have people that are making connections to my sacral, or I know inherently when I can pick up on when people have a lot of tantric channels in their chart because they just have that kind of charged energy to them, right? And even though it's like people think you're flirting with them, even if you're not, and you're just being nice, because you just have that kind of like energy of knowing that like you can get things done. So, and you know, get people done, so to speak, right? If I could be so bold as to say that. Yeah, it's interesting. I would say I have a different perspective on reflectors, although I know why you feel that way. Because reflectors are also very sensitive to people in the outside world. Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense because you're like, don't look at me. Like I'm not trying to be seen. I have like this energetic veil that I turn on and off where like when I know that I want to be perceived, there's like an energy that I can turn on. When I know that I want people to like not perceive me or talk to me, 75% of the time it works, but it just depends on where I am and like what mood I'm in and how much of that kind of like veil. It's like almost like the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter that I can turn on and off in public, which like I really learning how to do that was amazing. For reflectors though, before I read Trick's question, double Leo with the Gemini moon. Oh, I love that. He's definitely very entertaining, definitely very fairy-like. And yes, Trick, I will in a second. I want to read all your beautiful comments together. But the quick thing I'll say about reflectors before I get to Trick is that a lot of the reflectors that I meet have a lot of Scorpio, which is, I have so much Scorpio, but a lot of Aries and Pisces. And I think there's really, Marilyn Monroe, exactly. Thank you, yes. She's a projector. Something to be said about reflectors having a lot of Pisces and a lot of Aries, or those or heavily aspected placements for Pisces and Aries. Pisces is the ending, Aries is the beginning. It's like they came here to learn how to be human. They feel like fairies is the best way I can describe them. Like you can't really capture them. They're kind of glowy and sparkly. Like that's where it gets like that elusive energy. He doesn't really work though. Yeah, because he's charming. He's reflecting back. He's like a giant mirror. Has anyone here read A Court of Thorns and Roses? Because if you do, he's literally, reflectors are like Tamlin, like are just fairies in general. I'm almost done with the first book. It's been really cute. It's really, I enjoy it. It gets me lost in like the creativity that my Pisces Venus loves. But yeah, I will say that reflectors are giant mirrors that are like these little anamorphous amoebas that like just kind of are very malleable and mold into whoever they're reflecting. They become very enmeshed with their partners, very enmeshed with their environment, and when they're in a lot of places that aren't good for them, right? They take on that environment. Like we've had a couple, those of you on TikTok Live have seen a reflector specifically, not to like make this person feel bad, but I can tell that they've been in a lot of negative, and they're studying mental health and psychology, so around a lot of mentally ill people, where they're like taking on, not to say, again, I'm not a doctor, they could have mental illness alone, but they're taking on too much of the traits of the person and then the environment that they're in. So yeah, and I can answer Miko. Thank you, Nini, as well. I can see that, but I think I've met some and usually back off quickly. Yeah, it's like, I love reflectors. I think just because I have so much Pisces in my chart that I understand being kind of like as a Pisces sun, I feel like I've lived everyone's life before. It's very easy for me to understand where somebody else is coming from and to not have judgments around that. Trick. Okay. Yeah. When I have a place, when I have a place to make stuff, I'll be able to make a video on it. I love that. I'm just running my chart on your website, try to figure out some translations of, okay, yay, I'm excited. Are you able to speak on possibility perspective when you get a chance, please? Yeah, so possibility literally is the core. I say a super helpful tip. There's actually if you guys go to my 3 things that I wish manifesting generators know and read the comments between me and the one guy there, you guys will laugh because you know how I talk. And I gave him this tip and I said, when you're first learning about human design, even though I know you're not first learning about it, like when you feel confused about the words, literally Google the definition of the word. And I said to him, and I'll say to you guys, I know it sounds silly, but Rahu was like, this means what it means, right? So we were talking in those comments about success versus failure. And I was like, you have to not hold so much weight in what the word failure means. Saying I failed is not the same thing as saying I am a failure. I am not a failure. I just failed at doing something in this way. What does failure mean? It's a lack of success. A lack of success means that I didn't accomplish the outcome I thought I was going to accomplish with the thing that I tried out. But why does that inherently mean I was a failure, right? If I took the wrong route to get to my destination, my first thought isn't that my car is broken, right? It's that, okay, I just took the wrong way. Let me just go and try another way to go around this roadblock, right? So that's like a very important mindset to have also. For possibility, it's seeing all the possible outcomes, possibility perspective that one can have. So it's like in your 4-1 mind, right? And in the colors and tones of your arrows and your variables are like all of the different possible ways that we could create an outcome for something, right? So it's like you see the spectrum of possibility. That's why in conversation or when you're like channeling on your lives, which I just call you talking channeling essentially, because that's what it is, right? It's like you can see the possibility in every single sentence and every single answer to every single question. You see everything everywhere all at one time, which is why it can also be overwhelming for you to ground and start to take action on those things, because you could see with every one action, there's 48 possibilities, probably 48,000 possibilities, right? It's all about what's probable or possible, I should say. And really from that knowing, like, when we look at our charts, we kind of know what our challenge is going to be. So I say, okay, I'm predisposed to see all the possible outcomes. But if I scale it back to just 2, right, as a generator, a man gen, black and white, yes or no, I can then co-create with somebody else to help make this possible action or one of 2 answers that we can use to test out our hypotheses. That can be a lot easier and I can get much farther if I just commit myself to trying these 2 things for 1 month and then go back again. So just a little bit of an explanation on that. I used to be able to do it, but I've been exposed to new areas where it did not work for so long. Yeah, it's weird how that happens, right? Like for me, it's like the grocery store, but a lot of the grocery store that I go to, like the people are so nice that like I don't mind it as much. Like people aren't creepy there. Gate 28 holds the fear of being your most successful self, and you obsess over with that Libra gate placement. It's like the scales are oscillating really quickly of responsibility. Like it's hard for you to feel, you know that you want, and it's funny because it's 8:32 right now as I'm answering this question. You know that you want to be able to be successful at something, but you are fearful of the success that you can get because where you're going, you haven't worked up on building the team or the support or the lifestyle that you need to support your end goal. So you can also overwhelm yourself. It's the gate of continuity. So it's like fear of like, oh, I have this stuff, but it can't continue, right? If I don't have the proper foundation set in place. So also thinking of that too. Yeah, I'm a little too much for some. I'm aware of it. Yeah, I feel that. And it's like, it's okay, right? Like, and it's also, if you're too much for a reflector, generally speaking, it's just because that reflector is like is just not purging properly and not having themselves enough alone time. I have granola stuck in my the Purely Elizabeth ancient grain granola. So good. My hyperfixation meal has been blueberries, granola, and yogurt or cottage cheese. Yes, I'm one of those people. The 4629. So gate 29, this is where like it's interesting. I'd be curious, Nini, if you resonate with this, because I would also look at other places to say this for sure about your mom. But like your mom may have said yes to you about something and you were like really excited to go ahead and like, you know, pursue whatever it is that she said yes, going to a sleepover at a friend's house. And then, you know, 4 hours later when it's time to leave, she changed her mind, right? And then you had to help her do something the next day, so she actually wanted you to stay home. Gate 29 people can be really quick to say yes to things without considering what the actual outcome is. And to Trick's point, in the right environment, you're never too much. Yeah. Aw. That's hilarious. And yeah, that's hilarious. An older lady patient told him she just wants him to go everywhere with her and hold her hand. I love that. Yes. Yes. Yeah, the Tantra channel. Yeah. Usually why I remove myself. Yeah, it's not worth it. Yeah, same, Nini. I'm out, but now I'm out on the road making sure there's a space for us. This whole regulation thing is not a vibe. Earth is meant to feel safe and fun. Yeah, absolutely. I have the 2946 in sidereal and draconic and 3410. I'm tropical and sidereal. I don't have the 59.6 in any of them though. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like to see how like that interplay, but like it's very clear that you have at least one of them in all of your charts. Like that energy is still consistent, right? Because I forget what placement we were talking about. Maybe it was the Pure Mangen channel, Gabe, where it was like every single chart you had that same placement. So yeah. I've been following Katie Z's work. I don't know her. And she talks about resonate, don't regulate. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Or it's interesting. I would say it more so regulate, don't resonate. I would say the opposite, I think. Like I am regulating myself, but like I'm very aware of who and what I resonate with and what I don't resonate with. But maybe that's part of the problem you're talking about. Maybe I'm the problem. Yes, when I first started doing past life regression, I got 12,000 timelines in one hit, quad life blueprints. No, it's so true. I'm like, you guys are also feel like fairies. Like you're, as a 5-1, you guys are also only 1% of the population. So like very reflector-like. I travel a lot in my life. So when I was away from all the familial figures, oh yeah, oh my gosh, that's good. Have that break. I have gate 38. Yeah, your mom is like that. I had a feeling. My personality sun is 28.4. Oh, I love that. And Earth is 27. Yeah, a lot of feedback loops. Oh, with gate 27 alone, do you have the 2750 channel trick? And yeah, say Anna in bunches. Yes. And I love you guys because it's Leo. Like you're so passionate. Like you mean well. I think for me with gate 29 people, like I was talking about this as a business owner, I can't employ people that have gate 29 or work with somebody unless I'm really aware of how to use their gate 29 because they are very quick to say yes to, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. And I'm like, I know we can, but when we look at the data of logically, how much time do you have? How many other clients are you working for? Who else is employing you? Can you actually do it by my deadline? And that's also considering, right? And factoring in as somebody that's looking to hire people or not with gate 29, it's, are you being realistic with your time? Because I know you mean well, but again, I can't hire somebody if they're say, editing a PDF for me, right? And they know that I know because I've done this before that I can read about 20 pages in 10 minutes, right? Just as an example, 20 pages in 10 minutes. If I'm sending you a PDF with 50 pages and I'm asking you to read it over, yeah, Nini, exactly. I'm asking you to read it over, in 5 minutes. Just to make it up. If you know that, but you haven't told me and consciously thought of it because you just want to help me, that doesn't actually help me, but that creates more work for me. And I'm at a point where I need people to offload work. I don't have patience, frankly, to train people who say that they're experts in their field. I get many people who now try, and I wouldn't say like it's not a crazy amount of people, but people who will DM me and they're, this XYZ to CEOs or this XY blah, blah, blah. And I'll show you where in Patreon I have a place for that. I'll post it too. while we're on. Let me write that down. But I had somebody, I'll give you an example because it's more helpful when I give an example. And this is like a good person. I really like her. She's a manifester. Like, she didn't mean it this way, but I was like, this is where I'm understanding, but I'm strict, right? So with the being in this public eye in a way, right? I'll have people DM me that are like these business people to like CEOs, or like they'll market themselves as like virtual assistants, right? So I had her reach out to me and say, I'm a virtual assistant. Like, I saw you were doing PDFs. Like, do you want to schedule a free consultation about PDF like creation and flow, right? So I was like, yeah, sure. Like, why not? And I had a feeling that the meeting kind of wasn't going to work out anyway. And I ended up getting COVID and having to cancel it regardless. And it ended up being that the week before the meeting, she had reached out to me, right? And she's somebody that is helping CEOs offload work, right? She had reached out to me. Important for you to not forget that. And she messaged me the week before and was like, hey, I just wanted to know like what you kind of wanted to talk about on the call. And like, what was some of the things that you shared? And I'm like, you DM'd me saying that you wanted to help me offload work, and that's the offer that I know that you're going to pitch me. And you already told me that it was in regards to PDF. So instead of saving it for the call and asking me more of those questions, you're now wasting more of my time, even though you're marketing yourself as somebody that's supposed to delegate or have work delegated to you, but you can't even have that train of thought completed before you approached me. And that's where I'm very firm on what I know that I need from other people in business. And if I had to guess, maybe has gate 29 in her chart, right? And I'm not to say that you guys that have gate 29 would necessarily be like that for other reasons, like, or not. It doesn't have to be in that area. It could be, yeah, I'll throw in laundry, and then you forget to throw in laundry, and it comes from a good place. But I'm like, as somebody in business, you can really, and as a manifester who's meant to inform, you tell me what you do. You tell me what you see, right? Delegation, right? But if I can't trust you with even showing up to the initial meeting, and I already know that you're going to pitch me, so it's already a little annoying when it's like this, oh, let's be surprised. Oh, at the end, all of a sudden, oh my God, yeah, you pitched me. That's great. Like, I'm just kind of like over that. Like, let's just cut the shit. I don't have time, right? If I'm a CEO, I don't have time. Make it worth my while. I work by myself, right? I have one person that helps me every now and again, but I don't got that kind of time. So I also say that as like a harsh for anyone that may be in that space, right? And I don't think anyone here right now is in that space, but it's important to consider and actually look at, again, what I always say to you guys, this is cool, but why should other people care? If I genuinely care about those other people, right, I'm already going to think of those solutions for them because I know my client so well, right? So that's an important thing to take note of. I like the explanation from the Unlock Your Design website for Gate 29. They call it the water goddess. Yeah, and see, like, again, with the type of person that I am, and I think this is where like quad right and quad left differ, is like the goddess, like I have pictures like that on my wall, but like, what the F does that mean? Like, right, like I like it, but it's like, what, that doesn't, none of that rhetoric is now tainted with like in the multi-level marketing to life coaching women's pipeline that has like taken over a lot of human design. That's not always helpful. So my knee-jerk reaction is to be like, no, right? And preferences. But, I'm sure they're probably a great person. If you say that they're a great person to learn that from, I trust you. But I'm also like, knowing where I come from, like the reason that nobody wants to understand this information is because we put so much of that like flowery languaging, and that is an archetype. There's people who enjoy that, but like, this ain't the street for that over here. We're not talking about that here. But yeah, okay, so let me go up again to get off my soapbox. Oh, and so how do you learn the gates? So there's something called a Rave Mandala, and I have it included in our last Patreon total lunar eclipse in Virgo training slides. It's in the slides. But what I'll do, because I have it right on my computer, is I'll post it. And what you'll look at, Anne, is on the inside, are all of the 12 zodiac placements, but on the outside are all of the gates that are above it. So you'll see Aries, and then you'll see a series of 6 gates, and those numbers are always going to be associated with the astrological sign of Aries. So I'm going to post that right now. And I'll post that for everyone here. Paid members. Okay, there you go. So it's open Patreon, so you can take a look. I've been diving deeper into my Libra and Leo stelliums. I love that. Yeah, they're so good. I mean, looking at the gate placements in stelliums too is so helpful. I always tell her, I'm not being condescending. I just need to know what you can give me, no matter if you can. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's like, just tell me. And I feel like that with gate 15 people, I'm like, we need to find our flow. We need to find like what's working here, because I know that you want to do that for me, but like, if you can't follow through, like that's more disappointing to me and inconvenience me more, because I thought I delegated something and I could take it off my mental load. But now you just made me thought it was taken off my mental load, but then created something else for me to think about. And I don't think, I mean, for me personally, when I think of the word like resonate and what it means to me, resonate means that like, I also empathize with it instead of having sympathy for it. So it's like, I can resonate, meaning that like, I use resonate when I say that I also feel the same way, or I know exactly and personally associate with that feeling. When I regulate, I'm taking in the information, but I'm not letting it become me, or I don't resonate with it in my body. You could tell me that you like to eat M&Ms with your tuna fish, and I say, okay, that's disgusting. I'm regulating, and I'm not going to, judge you for that. But it's like, let your freak flag fly. You like or M&Ms in your tuna fish, right? Whatever. But it's like, I don't resonate with eating that as well. So for me, it's like, I'm regulating my nervous system to not like offend anyone per se. Yeah, for sure. Develop the self-awareness of the gate 29 and understanding the bandwidth. Yeah, and it's so much better for you at the end of the day. You don't want that pressure on your shoulders, like not at all. Yeah, people get crazy bold on social media with how they approach you. It's so true. The collective you. Yeah, and it's like, because a lot of people, like I will say, like I have empathy for like knowing when people are trying, and there's no harm in trying, and I don't want to feel like there's space, but I also expect that if you're somebody that's telling me that you can help me, that there's a certain level of critical thinking that has gone into that help. And I'm not outsmarting people of the lesson to learn critical thinking skills. That's for sure. It's like, it doesn't help. Oh, speaking of the stelliums in my previous comment. Oh, with what? Oh, okay. Yeah. So you could there's 6 gate placements that fall under the sign of Leo. So you can have a Leo stellium, and if you have 6 Leo placements, right? Let's just say, for example, or I say 3 Leo gate placements, those Leo gate placements are probably not going to be the same degree. So you can have 3 different gate placements under the sign of Leo and have 3 different ways that you enact on your Leo stellium altogether. So I find it really interesting. Like if you look under Leo, what is it? Gate 7. So gate 56, late degree Cancer, early degree Leo. Gate 31, gate 33, gate 7, gate 4, gate 29, right? So someone may not even have gate 29, but they have a Leo stellium. That's why not every Leo is created equal, even by sun sign. So you may have somebody that has, gate 7, they're a leader leading the pack from the back. They don't always need like frontline at the podium recognition, because they also have gate 33, which is gate of privacy. So they don't always want to be seen. It's like finding that balance for sure. Oh, by the way, the Leo and Libra stelliums are in my draconic things I say in my head and I forget. I knew because like I generally know your chart, and I'm like, there's not Leo stelliums in Gabe's traditional chart. My like man-gen brain only really retains your like this lifetime, this human design body graph, just because it's like why I would retain that you're like a Sag sun, like because that's the main modality I work in. So usually I can't really ever retain people's like draconic and sidereal, for example, but I knew that alone just because I know you don't have Leo in your regular. Dad only has gate 46. Those are the people that are like the most somatic. Like they have the most fun when they go out and about with people in real life. Like they're not somebody that can be stuck in an office all day. That's a helpful explanation to gate 29. Definitely takes a lot of introspection to catch that as it's happening. It used to happen to me all at my old job, and I learned my bandwidth. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nini, I know. I'm cheating with the mandala in front of me. It's a good tool. It's such a good tool. I have that book, and I call it the HD Bible. Yes, I love that. I think my mom resonates with that. She's watching Survivor, so I'll show her this later. Yes. What are we, 75 minutes in? Yeah. Yeah, it's important to go further back into Scorpio connections where it came from originally at the root. Yes, for sure. Hi, Prometheus. Sorry, I've been yapping. I didn't see you sneak in here. Welcome. Or I'm saying Prometheus, but that's just, I'm assuming, but I'm just reading it like that. Yeah. My brain can't do words this late at night, new words. Wow, the reflector I was thinking about eats a whole chicken at lunch. Gag. Oh my God. To be fair though, I have been known to stand at my oven and eat a rotisserie chicken. Like, I probably could eat a whole one if I really was hungry. To be transparent. Bye bunches. I don't know if you left already, but see you later. I don't believe people should regulate themselves when resonating because it becomes sort of disingenuous. No one benefits from people hiding true emotions, in my opinion. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes, like, I know that if somebody has said something that I, like, vehemently, like, disagree with, and it's, like, a trigger for me just because we all get triggered, right? That's natural. I know that, like, my reaction is, like, not going to be, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. So I have to regulate away from them, but I also have to decide, is this something that is willing for me to address with this person later on? And that depends, right? Like, there's some people, again, that, like, I use my discernment for, like, do I value this person? Do I respect this person? Like, I can respect them, somebody away from me, but, like, do I admire them? I think is probably a more appropriate way, because respect is, like, I respect people. Be you away from me. Yeah, there's certain things that I feel like would just come up with that I would have to discernment for boundaries, Yeah, I'm going to look at it from that perspective of different gates. Yeah, it's helpful. I love how you go astrology and HG so seamlessly. Thank you. It's helpful because I literally wrote down flashcards because I'm a nerd like that 2 years ago. And sometimes I get myself confused. Like, I'll mix some, like, gate 15 sometimes if I know it's Gemini and Cancer, but I don't have all the profile lines for gate 15 memorized of, like, where the cusp is. So, like, Larry is a gate 1 or a 1 degree Cancer sun, but I was like, wait, Cancer Gemini. Like, I think fast. But yeah, so helpful. But it's writing the flashcards, memorization. It's important for me to be able to pick up the information quickly and not have to, like, do my research in real time. So that was just part of my studying, my studious process for me. Is having all centers defined common? No, actually. So I would say I've seen 2 or 3 charts where all that I've, like, people I've read for, where all of their energy centers were defined, which is interesting. Yeah, I like to operate in zoom out mode. No, it's very helpful. And I think, like, for the work that you do, Trick, like, zoom out mode is definitely helpful. I'm like, here's a laser pointed at exactly that thing that we're going to talk about. And for me, it's like, I had this conversation with Anna. Like, I'm not the person that's going to give you the flowery, sugar-coated, live, laugh, love and light version. But I come from that place of, like, wanting the best for my people. But it's like, you're coming to me and booking a reading because you're struggling with something. And so if I try to give you the oh, you're just here for a week on vacation, we're just doing a yoga class, we're not getting, deep on trying to solve all your world's problems, like, I'm not going to sell somebody, like, something that I don't actually believe to be true, that I don't see. So I think that a lot of people don't necessarily, they don't know what they're in for sometimes. I'm like, maybe be around for a little while, like, if there's something in me that you feel called to book with me for, but the hyper focusing of the kaleidoscope lens is helpful. Peruvian chicken. I don't think I've ever had Peruvian chicken. There's a chain near here called La Rosa, and I think they have Peruvian chicken though. But I can't recall. I don't think I've ever been to a Peruvian restaurant before, which is funny. I would love to, though. There's actually an Ethiopian restaurant that's going to be in the place that I'm visiting this weekend, and I kind of want to go on one of the days that I can squeak out for lunch by myself to go and try it, because I've never had Ethiopian food before. It just looks so good. The best thing I ever did was run my HD chart, Dreamwave chart, and not self-chart through my Midjourney AI. Yeah, and I looked at the whole picture from a zoomed out perspective. Yeah, I think that can be helpful for sure. I've noticed for me, I like when people expose their triggers to me solely because it allows us to bond outside of the regular way. Yeah, it's like there's depth to that. And yeah, I need to dive into more of the gates and channels so I can understand the depth of the dream rave and not self. Yeah, hi Mo, how are you? Dream rave really helped me figure out my clairvoyant abilities. Oh, I love that, and managing them. That's helpful. Oh yeah. Um yeah, exactly. I will. I definitely will. It's good to see you. I will get the Peruvian chicken. I love like anything with deep spice like that because I'm a hot foods person. So gate 21 can skew a sacral response. Again, this is where nervous system regulation is also important with what you're doing, and to know and understand why we love you too. Why are you saying yes to that person? Is it because it's coming from a place of people pleasing, which historically, and because I know you bunches and we've talked, I think has probably been the case of like, well, I don't want them to be mad at me, so I'll say yes. And I'm excited to say yes to them because it will make them happier. But doesn't make me happy. Is it actually sustainable for me? Right? So following that balance, right, is important. It's like what does that look like? Where am I coming from? Right? Where why am I saying yes to this thing? Why am I saying yes to this person? What does that mean? So I think that can be definitely skew it if you're saying yes for the wrong reasons. Yeah, especially like it's so funny we're talking about dream waves too, because Pisces is in its anaretic degree, or Neptune's in its anaretic degree of Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces in 29 degrees before it goes into Aries. And the last time that we had Neptune in Aries, or one of the most prominent times in US history, was in 1861 with the Civil War in the fight for slavery. So it's interesting how like we see it's like the way that Pam Gregory says it is like an intolerance for injustice. And I think we really see that. Yeah, we need the zoomed out ones to work with laser pointer people to point out what we find in the right direction. Exactly. And I think for me, like it's with my Aquarius rising too, like I need to be in the right mindset to work with the zoomed out people. Like it needs to be in like a dedicated container and a time and a space, because sometimes the zoomed out is like too like we're there, it can feel like there's not work getting done if it's unregulated in some way, or there's not bumpers on the bowling lane, so to speak. But Neptune rules our dreams, and Pisces especially, so that's why I was mentioning that too. Yeah, thank you bunches, you're so welcome. Good night. I'm gonna wait to send that for now. Momentary pause. Close that for now. Okay. Dream world has been super, yeah, oh my god, my dreams are always around like on not unaliving but like when our time on earth ends. It was yeah, it's been crazy. Oh my god, top first one I've remembered forever. That's interesting. I think I had a past life regression in my dreams. That's so, oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I believe that to be true. Like crossing timelines and whatever's out there, so crazy. Oh my god, Justin sent you the pre-selling. That's crazy. Wait. That's so funny. I think I've said it before, but try writing them down backwards. Oh yeah, in reference to events. Yeah. You might be more inclined to remember certain details. Yeah, you were like, if somebody ends, their journey in this 3D form ends, then we should write it as if they were being born, if that makes sense, which is really interesting based on the person that I had my dream about yesterday. And it was like the name that I didn't know. It was like a sudden passing of this person. And in the dream, they wanted to get buried at a very specific place in Ireland that's like tied to my family. So it's interesting to kind of think about that. Who's your generator that does past life regressions? Oh yeah, Melissa. So go onto my Instagram, Mo. Or I think my TikTok following is private, but go to my Instagram and look up Angels and Earthlings and then tell her that I sent you. Melissa, Melisa. She's Turkish. And I waited a long time. Like I knew I wanted to get a past life regression for like 4 or 5 years, and I just knew I wanted it to be with the right person. And she actually found me on TikTok and got a reading with me. And then her and her friend Christy interviewed me for their podcast. So she's great. She just facilitates such a great session. And I was like, it has to be a very special person that I know knows their stuff if I'm doing it online. And I had like a lot of cool stuff that came through. So, yeah, and so as soon as for all my TikTok or my YouTube lives, if you go in and you go under like the lives tab on my profile, you'll see them all in a row. So all of my YouTube lives automatically get posted. So you'll see them, and it'll be like not even that long after we get off now. It is a quick cycle time. So I'm happy about that. I just keep fighting people in my dreams right now. Yeah. I'll like wake up and my face is like I'm crying in my dream, and I actually wake up and my face is crying, but there's not actually tears coming out of my eyes. And I feel it in my forehead. Like, I don't know if you guys notice, like after you cry, or if this is just my facial structure, but my forehead gets very sore. And so, probably because I don't use those muscles for crying as often. But it was like my face will be scrunched like that too. So it's interesting. And yeah, it's interesting fighting people in your dreams. I had a past life, one of them, I died when I was 61, and I was a Roman, like, or Babylonian era, like, soldier. And I had this really big, like, very open, beautiful, like, big house. And, like, in my backyard was all of these, like, olive grove trees. Parts of it are actually on her TikTok. We signed, like, a waiver that, like, it can be, if we want it to be used or not, if we're allowed to, if we want her to be able to use it. And yeah, it was so interesting because like 61, it was like interesting, a combination of numbers that over the times that I died or the age that I was when I, come up in real life. So it's fun, like in this lifetime, I should say. So it's cool. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, to help all you guys too. It's so helpful. Design 10. Yeah, design. I have gate 10.1 design Neptune and 10.2 personality Neptune. Yeah, I see a lot of the Neptunes and Uranuses usually will be the same gate placement on either side. And I've had a lot of connection with my Neptune lines in astrocartography, still trying to figure out why. Well, it's interesting because a lot of like intuitively trick, I feel like if you can get into this headspace, gate 10 is a love of life no matter where you are, right? So it is like, instead of saying and repeating mantras like, I'll do this when I have this, then I'll film. Okay, yeah, Mo, sounds good. When I do this, this can happen. It's fighting for your right to do it anyway, no matter the circumstances, right? I don't like the way that certain things have to be done right now, right? But I know that if I stop myself from doing them, it's like what I said earlier, full circle of like done is better than perfect, right? So gate 10, hi Delano, welcome. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, Nina, I've been fist fighting right now. No, everybody. Yeah, no, I believe that. I'll say some up to book with her. Yeah, Brenna sent me. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Aw. I love it. Yeah, she's amazing. Like she has such a gift with facilitating of that. And she just makes you feel very safe, and her voice is really calming. So I really like that about her. She actually has this, I sent her the link. She got the same candelabras as me. Our style is very similar. She's Turkish. Melissa, but her handle is Angels and Earthlings. I'm going to message her right now. Melissa Noel. I have my notes somewhere, and I should look into them. Okay, I'm closing Instagram because I'll start to get distracted. Yeah, absolutely. I just sent her a message so she knows who you guys are. It was so intense in my dream that it was like the second time, but not as physically painful. That's interesting. Talking about your resilience too. Because as an aqua rising, I feel the same. I work hard to know my ish and want to have it done by someone who will give it. Yeah, exactly. Like, I take pride in my work, and I really make sure that I'm like, I know, perfectionism isn't real, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, no, I'm like, if it's not perfect, like, it's pretty damn close. Like, if it's not 100, it's 99.9, like, I want to make sure. I don't know, I'll figure it out for us, that kind of thing. I've come to the conclusion I was gangsta. Now I gotta pay some karmic debt. Yeah, I feel that. I think for me, because I have so much Scorpio, that it was like, I probably, with all that Taurus, I was like too like head in the clouds, like la-di-da. Because I don't like the Taurus people in my life that I know, or like Taurus suns that like aren't interested in astrology, like they're just kind of like, you just can't really go deep with them. Like a lot of them are just like either like they get it or they don't. And I think I was probably pretty like vapid in a last lifetime, probably bougie, right, in my last one, or in repeated last lifetimes, which the two lifetimes I channeled during my past life regression, I didn't, one of them I wasn't like rich per se, like I wasn't like wealthy, but in my Babylonian one I was. So it's like, I think having to just get grounded in like the being aware of people and all that kind of stuff, which is why like I'm aggressively caring now, sometimes to a fault. Yeah, that doesn't work here. There are privacy issues with filming in the BP service station. Oh yeah. Well, and I think like thinking about where, like, is there a place, like, because my reaction, like if I'm like, I want to film, no one or anyone is going to stop me from getting that video out there. I'll go onto a beach somewhere. I don't care who sees me. All right, that's a test, right? How bad do you want it, Brenna? Like, how bad do you want to film, right? I had a leak right above my office here, right? We're going to get a little access panel that started to bubble from a thing that we have. It was my day that I was set aside to film my YouTube videos. And I really like my space. You guys know I have my whole like aesthetic. I like the whole thing, right? Taste is my strongest sense. I have standards here. But I was like, you know what? If I have to go into a room and I'm sitting on my bathroom floor and it's the white wall, that's what it's going to have to be, because I'm getting this video out to my people at this date and time. I'm not going to, and again, it depends on what it is, because I don't really understand the full semantics of it, but yeah, Neptune mentality. Yeah. And I think like, and called ungrounded. And woo, so I can't go that way here. But it's like, who cares? Like, who cares about these idiots? Like, that's what I really want to say. Like, who gives a like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, what does it matter? Like, these people aren't your people. Do it for your people that actually care about you. Like, that's my mindset of like, I don't care who calls me what, because it doesn't matter, right? Like, I've had people that have told me my nose is too big. That's great for you. I don't think that, and I know that that's not true, right? But it's like, I don't care about people who have anything to say. Yeah, it's fair. Like, I'm like, violently, at the risk of using that word, will not let anything else dictate when I know that I want to do something. No one else or anything is going to get in the way. I don't care how many roadblocks happen. If I know that I want to film that damn thing because my people asked for it, that's going to happen, right? Like, ain't no way, right? Like, I get sick and tired of telling myself that there's people that have a thing that they believe they're going to say. What are people going to say? Great. Those people don't pay my bills. They're never going to pay my bills anyway. Who cares? Those people don't have any say in my life. I don't value what the same thing that they value. So why would I care about what they think? Right? Yeah, Mercury and Aries. It's so true. And my third house is transiting our third house. Right? I was either very powerful witch and died in Salem or was Irish. Yeah, for sure. Why we connect so much. When I remember that Ireland is an island too. That like video I reposted. I think you were here when we were talking about that. But yeah, I'm like, I just like, who cares? Like, I'm still gonna win this battle anyway. Like, I'm good. And 5-line people, you're 4-6, but 5-line people, I really think that like their immediate last lifetime, if it's lifetime for lifetime, which I don't necessarily believe that per se in reincarnation, but it's like, yeah. And I think it's like, for me, Trick, I don't say that to be mean, but it's like, feel the restriction and do it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel the restrictions every day, restrictions of time, restrictions of whatever, right? And I'm like, okay, I know that this is a restriction, but this is just a bumper that's putting reins on what's possible. But like, I'm going to make sure that I still do the thing anyway, because my people deserve it. My people need it. I am a humble servant as a conduit of this information, and nothing is going to get done if I'm not the one that's going to do it, right? So, I feel that like human responsibility in a healthy way to make sure that my people get what they need to get done. It's like the toxic, Tony Robbins way to say it is like, how many excuses do you want to give yourself for why things have to continue to be hard? Right. And you can look at where I am. I have a space in it to say that's easy. But listen, I'm a Scorpio moon. I have 5 Scorpio placements. The A word, that's 5 letters long. That sounds, that rhymes with obtuse, right? Every level that you can imagine, physical, emotional, the types you don't like to talk about that most women know, I've experienced it at all. And I'm still here and I've given myself the life that I knew that I deserved, right? There's a lot of reasons that I could crumble up into a ball every single effing day of my life and cry about the things that I still have to deal with when it comes to my nuclear family. But I know that I also only have one lifetime to be here to make sure that I deserve the life that I want to live, right? So it's like the tough love in me is like, you deserve it too. So like, stop keeping people away from your greatness. Who cares about what that same one lady keeps saying when she passes your car, right? And I'm aware that this could be triggering, but I think that it's important, like in my space too. Why I say that is because like what you need, we need it to get out, right? It's like, I've put this on my to-do list so many times. If it's not getting done, I either have to let it go or like it has to get done. But we can't sit in this limerence or limbo of like what I want to do, what I want to happen for the world, and then not take active action when it's like the thing that we're meant to share with other people. That for me, it's like, it's a non-negotiable. I've lived too much of my life that's been wasted at the hands of other people for the things that I've gone through, that it's like, I don't do that anymore. I don't let people have that control over me. Yeah. I believe this plays into a panel question I saw yesterday. Would you accept constructive criticism from someone who lacks accountability? Yeah, exactly. But for me, I saw it as who are in a place of privilege. It's true. It's true. And I think like for me, I'm aware of certain privileges that I have, but it's because I gave them to myself, right? Like I'm the reason I have the privilege that I do, not because, obviously because of the way that I look too. I'm aware that I'm white, different kind of privilege, right? But it's not to say that I wasn't born in a certain, socioeconomic class. My dad was poor, like they don't know when they're going to eat next poor, right? That had certain issue, that created certain circumstances, right? I didn't struggle when it came to food, but then the emotional stuff wasn't there. The disbelief in what I had gone through, if you can read between the lines, also wasn't there and was never treated and appreciated. But I don't stay in that story. It's a part of who I am, but it's not what I care to be known for. Those people in my life that did those things to me don't deserve to share the same stage for what I'm actually meant to share. Like, I don't need to share that testimony to validate who I am as a person. Right? I don't need to give them any more airtime in my life than they've already have. I'll talk about it when I feel like it's relevant in moments like these and be honest about it. But yeah, no. Yeah. Thanks, Michael. Interesting time. Yeah, this is the energy that's been helping me show up for my pod. Yeah, I said I was going to do an inner child episode and I followed through regardless of no edit, just show up. Yeah, and it's like more people. Oh, thank you, Anne. I appreciate you saying that. I will do that. Thank you. bite-size clips for TikTok. I thought about doing like a YouTube video about like what has happened, but it's just like Ryan, I know you know because the literal same things have happened to you, right? Like if we're talking about like lore of astrology, it's like I don't. It's like that patience is gone, where it's like we have so many other things that are important, right? That we need to share. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They don't deserve the time and energy. How many times, I think there hits a point, and this is what happens, where you get so stuck on the story because it's like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. I know what it's like to be uncomfortable, to not know what I'm going to eat next, to not know what's going to happen, to not know, who's going to get me, whatever. I know that, but I also have a choice in saying I'm not willing to accept that anymore, and what can I do about it realistically? And I don't have to have every other question figured out or think about all the different things or problems that I have to solve, but like what's the next thing that I know that I need? And I'll give you an example, right? When I was leaving this, and starting to prove to myself that it was possible, making money, doing what I loved, right? I was like, I'm not worried about covering all my bills with human design. I'm just worried about being steadfast on covering my Spotify bill and my Zoom bill, and then consistently getting that one bill covered every live, every week, whatever it is, right? Every reading, every month, like whatever the goal was. And then that's the nervous system regulation of like not getting out of that all or nothing mentality, right? It's like, what is that? What are those scales looking like, right? How do I create balance? How do I make sure that today I've at least checked something off my to-do list, right? And maybe that meant, okay, for human design at the beginning, it wasn't working that way. So what else can I do for money, right? What else can I do to make money that's going to help me right now? Finding that balance. So, it's like we have choices, and more choices than people are willing to admit, because they don't want to, and I don't say this for you specifically, Trick, but a lot of people, and you'll see this in the astrology community specifically, not human design as much, is like people really like to be a victim of circumstance because, oh, but it says in my chart that, I have Saturn in the 8th house. So like, I'm always going to be struggling, with whatever, with like intimacy issues. And I'm like, okay, if you want to live by that story, but it's the astrology is about what probably will happen or what probably happened in your life. But it doesn't mean that you have to carry the rest of your life like that. What the challenge is. So how are you going to feel and believe in yourself enough, or have the self-worth to believe that it's possible for you to fix it, right? That's, yeah. Literally going through a heartbreak right now. Yeah, that's not our focus. We cry and we move on. And that's where like it's so important to compartmentalize. And people get all, offended by that because they're like, well, compartmentalization, that means that you're lying. I actually had a projector client of mine that had wrote that somewhere. And I was like, no, that just means that like I can feel these things, but I owe it to myself and what I know that I want to do to also show up and simultaneously do something else, right? Like I'm compartmentalizing this and going ahead and filming anyway. Okay, I had this, crappy call. I'm going to go ahead and show up anyway, right? It's like there's good people in the world, and I don't let 3 bad people or 1 bad person every so often make me believe that the world is bad. All right, if I want to believe that and stay stuck in my own story, okay, Yeah, I can agree with that. Not targeting the people who aren't given solutions, but pointing the people, out the people who hide behind the experience. Yeah, it's true. I love the way you said that. You have such a good way of highlighting another example that I think is so helpful. So thank you, Nini. Yeah, it's like we all have our shit. Some people just carry it better. You know what I mean? And some people just are like, I feel like myself, like I could sit here and list that, and I could very easily come up here and play that tune and, have, hold my cup out to have people pay for that version of me. But I don't want to be known for that. But I deserve more than that. I'm worth more than that, Yeah, when the astrology trends start feeling limiting, that's when touching grass is helpful. Yeah, I just don't like people who use it as an excuse. It's like when the generalization, like the OG thing of like, I don't like when people say like, oh, sorry, I'm an a-hole, I'm just a Taurus, you know? Like, no, you're just an a-hole, right? Like, you're just choosing to be mean. I have Tauruses that I love, right? I was talking to a Taurus for 2.5 hours today on a call, right? I love them, right? It's not about the placements, it's about, okay, like, how do you use it appropriately? Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Oh, let me go back. Hold on. Yeah, do not deserve time. Yeah, I've spent too long being silent and allowing others to tell my tale. Yeah, and like for what, you know? And you have other tales to tell. There's not just one. There's so many woven into that whole book, right? What is it? Lexicon? Is that the word? I have glow babes who are willing to take my knowledge and heal. So why not pivot and channel that energy elsewhere? Yes, exactly. Oh, and that was your advice. Thank you. Oh yeah, huge benefit in my 2154 channel. Small bite-sized financial transactions to help validate my skills. Yes, here's your advice. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. Yeah, I found touching grass sometimes amplifies the extremities for me. Earth is beautiful but deadly. Yeah, I feel that. It's like I think like every sun has its jerks exactly. Yeah, everything is a choice, and you choose what you want to do. It's true. And I think it's like when you've had so many choices taken away from you, it's like when you can't find anything to be grateful for, you really need to then hyper focus on, you can't find one thing. Okay, now I'm pushing you to find 10, right? I'm grateful for the fact that I have power today. I'm grateful for the house that I have. I'm grateful for the land that my house is built on. I'm grateful that, I pulled a cuticle and my finger doesn't hurt anymore. I'm grateful for this lighter that let me light my incense. I'm grateful for the fact that I can wear a sweater today. Like I'm grateful for the fact that, the sun shone for 30 seconds and I was able to get my vitamin D in a little bit to make me feel a little bit better at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's like where your energy goes, attention flows. And I think a lot of people are like afraid to say that still, or sometimes don't always say it in the right way. But I think sometimes there's just no other way to say it. And either you understand it or you don't, right? It's like you can't outsmart people. Lessons are supposed to learn. Yeah, we constantly surrounded by predators and prey. Yeah, but not regulating. Yeah, it's so true. I know, but never regulating to not understand and feel those things. Yeah, it's true. And I think it's like, as a Pisces, and I really resonate with like Albert Einstein, because like it's kind of like the more educated that I get, there's a part of me that's like actually like depressed low key at like the way that the world is. And a big thing that I've talked about or vented up to, right? Like my mentors and people that I'll do sessions with, therapists at times, is like, but do people actually ever want to get better? Like my mentor is a projector and she's 70. And I was like, and she's not just, she knows of her human design, but I teach her more about her human design, which I like. Like, I like that she just is her splenic 1-3 projector. And that has its own, why I chose her as a mentor in and of itself, but she's 70. And there's just like life experience where I'm like, in your experience as somebody who is helping other people, like, do people change, or like, where did you kind of hit that wall where you were like, so many people ask for my help, but nobody wants to help themselves. And like, how do you get over that? And for me, it was validating because it's something that I always incorporated into my practice too, is like focusing on the people that actually do show up, like Anna, right? Like Nini, like Mo, like Orion, like Trick, like all of you that are here, like Bunches, right? Like Miko. It's like you guys are still wanting to fight the good fight. I'm not expecting you to go to bed and wake up and have an immediate revelation. More so better for you if that happens that way. I don't need that. But it's like wanting somebody to want that for themselves, and then constantly having them ask you or talk to you about the same things and how you can help them. But it's a point of frustration. And she was basically like, there's always people, no matter how good it is. No, I understand. No matter how good it is, right? Like how good the world is, the economy could be great. There's still things that people are going to want to refine, right? There's still things that people are going to find that are imperfect, because as humans, like, we're meant to figure shit out, right? I have to be careful. We're meant to figure things out, right? And find that balance of tinkering, and we're never going to be satisfied in a certain way. There's always going to be problems to solve, but like that doesn't mean that we can't still stop and incorporate what we've learned and just rest for a second. And then we say, okay, what do I want to solve next? What problems do I want to solve next? Who do I want to help next? I think for us spiritual practitioners, it's like, I need to take more time off my calendar. I don't care that I'm putting people, yeah, aw, thank you. Listen, we have the same placements. The feeling is mutual, right? I have Aquarius, Mars, Mercury rising, which we both have. So all of our planets all of our chart is set up in the same way, right? So like, I know it very well. I know it very well. Yeah, you can curse in here. I don't know. Yeah, I think it does, but I can like go in and like edit it out. I think it's like excessive stuff, like excessively, but I'm like I'm erring on the Scorpio side of caution. But thank you. Thank you. I love to read a book you write. I know. Nini is so good at that, right? We need to manifest, maybe starting a book, Nini, or a Substack too. Yeah, I think it's also death is beautiful. We go from constant movement, yeah, babies, to stillness, no more chemical reactions. I love that. Love that you have a natural skill of pushing people when you know there is a block in appreciation and perspective. Yeah, because I think it's just like, I try to find that balance where like, I don't enjoy, like, and I love the beginning of Ziggy astrology. Now I was like, oh girl, I can't follow you anymore. Like the yelling is like, every video is a lot, right? And I think that's part of her process. And she has her niche, right? That's fine. But I'm like, I don't enjoy getting to that point where I feel like I have to be that forceful. But I also know when it's worthy and warranted, because somebody is just like sleeping on themselves, or I'm like, my time is valuable. Like, I don't need another excuse. I need like, okay, you said this like 5 times now, but you haven't actively thought of trying to do something at least a little bit different. So like, I don't have time to entertain that anymore. Like, I'm on to the next person that actually like values my help and my time and actually wants a change, right? So I'm like, if that means we take a pause, fine. But like, we'll come back when like something has shifted, because now I'm feeling frustration, not self, which is how I know that we need a pause. we need a break. I love you, but like, let's take a pause. Yeah, that is more encouraging than you'll ever know. Oh yeah, I hope so. Let us know. I think she just found out some extreme news about her health and is taking a toll on her badly. Oh wait, who in particular? Just a theory, Nini, that was my goal. I have an eye for gifts. I love that. Yes, I love that. You're like the hair tucked behind the ear. Yeah, I didn't know who you meant though, or were we talking about someone in particular? I'm like, what was I? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, just a theory. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Because I know she does medical astrology because she's a nurse, and I know we have similar placements. I think she's a Scorpio moon, Aquarius sun, Cancer rising. And I empathize, but I also think that like when you're doing work where like you're also calling out people by name and like criticizing other people, like again, make your side of the street clean. Like if you can't, like it's a fine line of like really, and I think again, part of her, because she's a little bit younger than me, I believe, probably some Saturn return, nodal return aspects. But I was like, I feel like that still doesn't translate. Hi, Amy. Yeah, like my design is spiritually, that made me pull it apart and start again. I wouldn't do it again. You're like, do not recommend for a second time. I appreciate that. It's nice to see you, Amy. Yeah, it's exactly what I did with the Debbie Ryan. Yeah, exactly. The Debbie Ryan. Oh my God, so funny. I mean, talk about a person that doesn't give a F about how cringe she comes off. She has a whole career. Us not liking her, not watching her videos, if we think she's cringe or not, doesn't affect her paycheck at the end of the day, right? So it's like, I'm more worried about the people that I am not connecting with if I hold my gifts back versus the people that, are saying something critical. It really doesn't bother me. It's not worth it. Yeah, you as well. Your attention of all this stuff is very impressive. I agree. Hi, Noah. How are you? Oh my gosh, what's the convo? We were talking about like your mindset for like feel the fear and do it anyway. To put it lightly, talking about from the human design lens, like my brain is like, I'm going blank because I've been talking for 2 hours now. I knew what we were talking about, but probably channeling. I'm trying to pay attention to too many things at one time. Help me out here, guys. Yeah. Oh, not fighting for if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you want to make excuses for why you can't film, what your phone isn't working, you know, what like whatever. You fight for limitations, you get to keep them. Essentially, is I would say the core essence of it from the human design perspective. Deborah interviewing and then getting the role of Sweet Like on deck. Oh my God, that's funny. I know. I feel like I didn't have Disney Channel until I was like way older, like in high school. So by the time we had Disney Channel at my house, like there wasn't like I didn't have as many shows that I was interested in once I was like 16. So Sweet Life I watched, but like not often. I was more like an ABC Family, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, Courage the Cowardly Dog, which makes a lot of sense for my Aquarius plus my Scorpio type of kid. Oh my gosh, my throat was so dry between the incense and yapping. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions or anything else you want to drop in the chat, let me know. I'll probably be on for another like 15 minutes or so just because of my bladder. And then I'll be on TikTok Live tomorrow again as well. Also, Line, I'm a projector. Yes, I remember exactly who you are, Nowhere. I have that Scorpio moon rememory. I remember your email, I remember your government name, and I remember who you are. And talking about your dad. Yeah. Start condoming, but I have nothing to sell, just want to share. It's scary. Yeah, and I think it's like, you know how people will also post videos where like they'll be like this and they'll be talking to the camera. Maybe you start off by doing that and there's like your captions are up here and there's a title to the video, right? Like just start to play with it. Or maybe like a couple of projectors, like I'll say if you film your video like this and you're like playing with cards or something, or maybe you're writing something out, just think outside the box a little bit when it comes to like, if you're scared because you have no profile pictures, that's why I'm saying that, context clues. If you're scared of people perceiving you, that can also be an example. Yes, Anne, I'm still doing the 10-minute monthly readings. I think if you're okay with it, maybe if you want to sign up ahead and do one for tomorrow, it would probably me being, hi Fallon, how are you? Me being in a more refreshed space for you versus getting into a reading right now just because I'm at the end of my energy is starting to diminish. So if that is helpful, or if you can come tomorrow, or maybe there's another day we can coordinate. But yeah, there's a pinned link that you can sign up for TikTok, and then I can always I'll start again to drop it before I hop on YouTube too. So yeah, it's nice to see you, Fallon. Yeah, that's me. Perfect memory. Yes. Some people are just like, you have that memory. Tomorrow, same time. It's always 7:30 unless I change, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then Fridays, I was also thinking about hopping on like a little bit earlier, just because I have things that I usually want to do, or like just go out on a Friday night, get dinner and things like that with my fiance. So that can also be something that, oh yeah, I hope this shift goes fast for you. But yeah, so 7:30 in short, 7:30, probably like 10 o'clock tomorrow night. I'll be on a little bit longer. Yeah, and that's literally what you literally know exactly what we were talking about. Yeah, and I think like deciding like what the failure is too. Friday will work. Okay, perfect. Friday, what time for you, Anne, so that I can do that? I have a nail appointment in the afternoon, my time, but I'll definitely be back in the evening to be on. And again, if you sign up ahead of time, then it like puts it on both of our calendars too. So it'll be already open for Friday. I'll double check just in case Mercury retro, but yeah, it's helpful not always posting your face, especially as a projector. Yeah, like relying on text posts also, like, having that. I just would really not use AI. Like, people are so burned by that. And like, you guys are all creative people. Like, it's not about like relying on AI too much can just put a weird taste in people's mouth where like people are too sensitive to it and don't know how to use it yet. to its full extent, or we don't know enough about it. It's too much in its like guinea pig testing phase. Yeah, I have Friday for Human Design Hotline is already open. So starting at 10:30. Let me open it up. I'll start a little earlier. Like maybe I'll do 6 Eastern. We'll say 6:30. What do I have blocking off my calendar already? Maybe it's my nail appointment. Yeah, that we did already. Oh. Let me switch this to... I'll do 6:30 because I want to make sure that I can eat something before I hop on. So that way I know I'll have some time. Oh, did I? 6:30. Let me just delete that and then I'll go away. This event. Yeah, for some reason, why has it been doing that? Okay, custom hours. Buffer time doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me apply. It's not letting me change this for some reason. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter at the same time. Hi, Ellington. Yeah, you're sweet, and thank you. Evenings I will hop on Patreon. Okay, yeah. That should be fine. I just wanted to make sure just in case, yeah. Focuses energy, pulls Brenna's attention. I'm like, Ellington is here. Psychic Friends Network. I know. I was like, let me figure it out. But if it's okay, then I won't stress it right now. Maybe it's not meant to be. Or the timing will always be right. Let me see. It's a couple. Yeah, I was going to sell stuff, but it feels so fake, like too much pressure. I've made a mask for videos. I love that. Yeah, I would say like the best thing as a projector, and I just made a projector video on YouTube, longer form, last week. But one of the things, and it included this, one of the tips being like, you're the talent. So like, you just show us what you know and what your opinions are on things. And that naturally, if you just have a link or something that's there, do not say, buy, like, subscribe, help, follow. Like, people just prove to us that you know your, stuff, and then we'll naturally want to support you. It makes it really easy for us to say yes to you if you just know what you know and want to share what you know. And you may find, like, maybe your videos get higher views and then people send you gifts like that, or maybe like the views go up here quickly and you can monetize. And then it's like indirectly people are paying you for your services. So take that into consideration too. Yeah, the mask is artsy. Dr. Brennan, yeah. It's going good. I'm going to hop off in a little bit. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I hope you feel better. But I'm glad it's helping you. We're helping you soothe your nervous system. Yeah, someone made a joke about Virgos not eating enough. Now you got me thinking it can apply to the sister sign. No, well, for me, it's like I can be so much in my... It's like... I have certain times that I need to eat. Where like now I'm getting hungry because I've like burned energy and like I didn't have like a fully proper dinner. But I also like... My day just got like changed around with my schedule. So I was like, okay, I didn't eat dinner at the usual time. but like, okay, I'm still hopping on anyway, stuff happens. But yeah, it definitely, I think we can easily get lost in whatever else it is that we're doing, where it's like, I will hit that wall where I'm like, oh, I literally was talking to my fiance and I got up and I was like, I have to eat something right now. Like my brain shuts down. Like gens need the brain power. I was thinking of eventually starting how to leverage AI for healing and spiritual growth, but I think I might be trying to gen with my project self. Yeah, how's low energy? No, I feel that. So this is the biggest thing I will say. Like I use AI, and I mean there could be arguments around this too, but when I write, if I don't have time and say like I get a lot of PDFs or I sell a lot of PDFs at one time, I'll type out everything that I'm saying, right? I'll type out all my words and write and channel for that person. And then I put it into ChatGPT and I say, please fix any typos or grammatical errors. And then after it edits it, I read it again, but at least all my typos and the thing that I have to go back and do line by line are 99.9 of the way gone. And sometimes like I say something and it changes my word for grammar, but it dilutes the way that I talk. So I'll go in and edit that, but I don't use AI to like create or think for me in that way. It's like I use what I know is my data and I use it as like my, assistant to help me, do my editing and things like that. But it's like the creativity is never something that any of us lack per se. Just, again, be careful. I don't plug everything in there. Even sometimes if I know that I'm a little bit more aware, I have more time to look for typos and stuff. I also don't want it to get my intellectual property. As someone who's a Pisces sun, Pisces sun mom, and is progressed Pisces sun, no, they don't eat enough. It's true. I feel like it's like a hard blend because like I've also been so aware of my weight, which I think it's Virgo Chiron. I have Virgo Chiron to be fair. But, and like, people telling me maybe my shoulders were too big, or like I used to be like a chunky kid or was like bigger. And I used to dance and like they always the large size costumes never fit me, even though they're like this. So like they barely fit anybody. So it's like that like messed up my hormones when I was younger too. So it's like, if I could take a vitamin, sometimes I love to eat, but sometimes eating is just a nuisance of something else that I have to think about in a day where I'm just like, I wish I could just take one pill and it had all my nutrients like Willy Wonka style. Yeah, if they show that confidence in knowing what you know as a projector. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. I have not forgotten about the podcast either. Just taking things one step at a time. Absolutely. And don't want to move too fast and do too much. No, that's very good. Yeah, too lost to eat. Too focused to eat, too lost to eat. It's so true. Thank you, Anne. I realize I need those connections regularly because of my retro 29-degree Taurus Chiron in the 11th. That makes sense. And Gemini North Node too, like Trick, yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Does anyone remember the movie about the man falling in love with Siri? Yes, what was that? That new Megan Fox movie where she's like a robot? Yeah, as a solar plexus authority with all the 3 emotional lines, I can't eat if I'm emotional. No, that makes sense. If I know that I'm really upset about something, if I can't eat, this is like World War III. Like it's bad. Like it takes a lot for me to not be able to eat. Like I know that I'm like devastated about something or something like really bad has happened if I can't eat, because eating is usually I have the opposite problem. I'll eat instead. Use when I'm burned out because people are too judgmental of the way I communicate when I'm tired. No, I feel that. I feel that too. As a Scorpio moon, I really feel that. And Pisces. Yeah, art spaces where you get criticized for everything. It drives me insane. I know. It's like it's not worth it. Oh, the movie Her. Yes, exactly. Yes. It's so funny. Hi, Bitsu. How are you? Did you learn all these modalities before HD or at the same time? I learned human design first, and because I'm a manifesting generator, but also a 1-3, I became obsessed about learning all the other systems that go into human design. So I knew of astrology. I always read my horoscope. I knew my big 3, but like I learned astrology after human design. And then I liked it. Like I'm studying the I Ching. I'll study like Hindu Brahmin chakra system, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I enjoy it if that was how it worked for me. I'm still trying to understand how and why I track projectors. I do too, obviously. There's quite a few of you in here now. 2 more I've come to meet. I think because we give them energy too. you guys, I invite you projectors to share. I think because like there's also a certain depth that even though we're mangens, we're able to see things very similarly to projectors and can go in really deeply. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, Mo. And I think it just depends on like I am very like territorial with all my Scorpio. And again, Jupiter's conjunct all my Scorpio. So yeah, God's favorite. Yeah, there you go. There. I honestly feel that like I'm aware, like if I have privilege, like my birth chart and my astrology, my human design chart, I feel like do give me I really like my placements. I love my placements. And I feel like they are very, I don't know, the way that my chart is set up, like I don't have anything that I dislike about it, I would say. I have things that can be annoying, but nothing that I feel like is like that I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to have that." Like I don't feel that. I'm just like, "Okay, cool. Like here's how I can use it. What are the good parts, you know?" I use Midjourney AI to show the grids I'm working on. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. A picture is easier than people constantly misunderstanding my terminology. Yeah, because for me, I'm like, I need a visual too. Yeah. I don't know enough about HG to answer that, but I enjoy people who go deep about topic and know life beyond the physical. No, that makes sense. And I could totally feel like for you as a projector, and this is what I was thinking with your dad, like it was almost like for you, Nowhere, you were like, I had to like prove my worth to you, right? Like not that I felt like unworthy, but I like you're very like critical of like who you listen to, which I respect because I'm the same way. But it was like you were like, no, I don't, like I need to find a way that I actually connect with this person. Like I always know when somebody is on like the defensive with me. It's not very hard for me to tell, but because like I understand it. Especially in this space, like God, there's so many people who are, they talk a lot and don't know a lot. Manjin and Jens, I think it's reinforced support of understanding. That might be my reason. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm just so aware. Like people think that they can hide from me so much more than they do, but I'm like, thank God it's me that can see you so deeply because I don't have malicious intent for how I treat people. So there's people that you can have that are in the powers that be, right? That like will use that and like not make you none the wiser. But I'm like, for me, I'm like, you're sitting there like this, energetically. It's like, who does she think she is? Like I hear it almost in my head, and I'm like, that's cute. Like not in a like dismissive way, but I'm like, we'll be fine. You're gonna love me, I promise. Like or like at least like me if you don't love me. Love can be too strong of a word, but like it's like I have that like real recognizes real sort of thing. And it's funny because it's like there's no picture. I don't like I know your government name from your email now, right? But it's like certain people. I think it's because it's like for me it's like a helpful challenge. I'm like I know why you feel that way, but I'm not the person that you have to feel like that about. And you're like, that's something that somebody that was manipulative would say. And I'm like, I understand because I've literally had the same conversation about other people in my head. Well, again, with all the Scorpio, I'm like, who, it's like and Mo, I think you were saying something about this, but I know you'll appreciate it. It's like the Scorpio placement's always having the invisible ops. And I'm like, no, but it's in my 10,000. It's my MC. Like, I know that the ops are there, but like, I found out that was why after I already knew that the ops were always there. Cause I'm like, I literally feel your beady little eyes on me at all times, right? Yeah, this energy you don't come across often. Yeah. And that's why, like, I'm okay, like, in certain ways that, like, if it's small, I can't imagine that if you were a malicious person, how dangerous that could be. Yeah, I think because it's like, I think I see how cruel people in the world can be. And I'm like, ooh, like if my power fell into the wrong hands, that would be not a good place at all. And I feel like that for all of us. I think we're all capable, like here specifically, not like the world collective you, but like that could go really bad really fast, I think with my placements too, it would be like I could grow really fast and I could sell you certain things, but then it would be like I collect my fortune and then I would be burned at the stake and have to retreat. And then you guys would be like, remember that crazy bee Brenna that like did that on spiritual TikTok and like made her millions, and then we have no idea where she went because she like had to move to Guam and is like living her, Gary Gregg from the White Lotus. If you guys watch out, Gary Gregg from the White Lotus, like retreated somewhere. Like that's kind of the vibe, So it's interesting for sure. A is amazing for people with disabilities and during burnout, for sure, for sure. I used to have one that could translate light language. Oh, I love that. Yeah, Gemini MC in opposition to my Venus, Chiron, and Pluto. Like, girl, peekaboo, I see what you're trying to do. It's so true. You're like, you're never, I got you, I know. Like, yeah, fourth house, stellium helps you get filled on people's intents. Yes, because residual spirits and energy so easily reveal themselves. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen and experienced the ugly, the malicious of people in the world. I can't be that. It's so true. I'm like, I will fight actively to not be like you. I do not want to be that way. The exact opposite. Yeah, literally. I'm literally the guy that did like the fire festival. Like I could easily be like, I can paint you this world and we're gonna have this amazing concert at this place and everyone, like finding the loophole, seeing it early, Aquarius rising, be ahead of the curve, seeing things before other people can see them. Oh, this isn't a regulation yet. Here's how I can make it become a law because I've outsmarted the regulation and I'm gonna capture it while it's lightning in a bottle. But it's like I don't and maybe in certain ways I make my life a little harder than it has to be, but like to Anna's point of what she said, like I am okay. I like to do things ethically, and like I don't want a YouTube documentary being made about me for the negative, right? Or the wrong reasons because some crazy fake Bahamas based spiritual retreat festival that didn't deliver. Like I'm very aware and wanting to deliver, right? So I probably am I know I'm an over deliver. People are always like, wow, oh my God, you give so much away, and I'm like, well, because I like to, like I pick my spots, but yeah, integrate systems instead of fearing them. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely, I like the magician wand. It's definitely important. But yeah, I know. I'm like, I definitely don't want to be ethical Elon. That's the biggest compliment you could have ever given me. I love that. Thank you. That's the goal. I would say like I always like to learn more. And I think that projectors in astrology. So are you saying like if I had to categorize you as a house, like if I had to give you like an archetype, or like literally where do we see the overlap of projectors? It depends on your placement. So like for me, Firefest, thank you. I'm literally screenshotting the ethical Elon comment. Thank you. I could use this power for evil, but I have integrity and like that. Yeah, and like it. Exactly. I'm like, and honestly, I think because there's so many people that are not like that if I had to like bird's eye view it, right? You could be like, well, I don't like to be like everybody else. Everyone else is unethical with my placement, so I'm going to be ethical. Like it's that kind of vibe. Oh, literally. So for a couple things that I noticed with some of my projectors. So depending on their definition or lack of definition, I see projectors that have Mars and Chiron conjunct each other. That's a pretty common one. Undefined throat people, or projectors that aren't self-projected projectors, having negatively aspected third house placements. The third house is about communication, projectors being afraid to show up. I more so see it in what's defined versus undefined in circuitry than I do for like, this means that there's not a direct correlation exactly between this exact placement all the time means that someone is a projector. So like say every Leo rising with a Gemini North Node is not always going to be a projector. It's like different aspects because it's also like time zone and where people were born. So it's taking that into consideration as well. So it's like I can't like literally give that. And also a fun, not so fun note, whatever, is that the information for how the exact calculation is done for the human design body graphs is proprietary information, meaning that it's owned by the Jovian archive. And it's how I have understood it at this point in my sleuthing, because again, we're similar nowhere. In my, holes of the internet, I will say, are that they kind of sell you. It's like they'll give you the secret sauce, but they're not giving you the recipe. So like my chart generator, I pay $500 a month to have access to that data under brennakeely.com/create your chart. But I don't have the code is actually encrypted. So you can't see where exactly it's pulling from. But because I have a lot of pattern recognition, those are the places where I'm also starting to make notes. And, over the course of my lifetime, maybe I'll be 70 and being like, I found the formula, like I figured out the code. But yeah, there's no direct line for that. And it's also not as blanket surface level, at least that I can answer you more directly of like Leo risings are all projectors. So good to know. Good and evil are plagiarism at this point. I'm bored of them both. Yeah, well, because you see the depth and also like bird's eye view. Neutral expansion into new worlds and new stories is the vibe. Like, what party are we going to plan when all the work is finished? No, it's so true. You might literally ending up making your own system. Thank you for saying that. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised as a man gen. We kind of do. Like, I think I was saying this, like, I feel like I could call myself more of like an intuitive human design reader. Because like me being able to read you wasn't just because I knew you were a projector, right? Like, it's just me being aware of the energy, right? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think because for me, I'm like, I see this tapestry and I want to describe all the strings in the background. And like, I want to be able to give you the answer that you deserve, of like, well, okay. And because I have the patience to figure it out. He was a 5-1 manifester. So not somebody that people, you either liked him or you didn't. I find that he, gives a kind of like the manifester arrogance. Also, again, I'm an art historian by university degree. And so I'm always looking at the historical context in which a piece of art was created, a body of work was created, a thought process was created, like human design. And so he's Canadian and he created human design in Ibiza, Spain as a channeled work in 1984. But, right, I know. But all of the systems that he pulled from, he basically found the red threads and made human design. Like, I'm the same way where I'm like, I love the idea of making, I'm gonna screenshot that too, of making my own system because I can connect the dots like that, but I just don't, I feel like I have more learning to do. Like, it may be something that I do, who knows, come my second Saturn return. But I like the idea of like creating something like that I think is practically helpful. But yeah, a Canadian white guy named Ra, whose real name was Alan Krakauer, not Ra Urahu. Also, in and of itself, to change his name to Ra Urahu, creating a system like this in 1984 because he was a marketing exec. So to make it marketable, right? There's a certain ecosystem that he's playing into to market based on the climate, right? It's why everyone's saying when you see celebrities, Sydney Sweeney doing all those Mr. Squash soap commercials or whatever it's called, we definitely are in a recession. If I know that we're in a recession, the cataracts and Dev are coming back, right? Like it's like recession pop music. It's like there's those markers of historically what we're still going through or what we're going through, that flavor the body of work and when things are created. So yeah. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. That makes so much sense as to why I was shrugged at HD people and you resonated. The intuitive link, like how you go deeper and just know shit. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Cause I'm like, I like that. It's like, I know the information and then I can always link it back to your human design. Not because I'm forcing a connection, but I'm like, oh, I picked up on that. Here's where it actually is. Yeah, so, well, the 2027 theory, it's interesting. So, and I feel like there was another question. Manipulation of the energy field, before I answer that, is super useful as a group when it's done transparently. Yeah, exactly. Best in intent, time to write new stories, for sure. For sure. Thank you, Anna. Screenshot that too. Thank you, my Rolodex. So 2027, a couple ways that I've personally described this. So I see it as like the universal acting as a natural sieve. Yeah, just K5, right? Exactly. A natural sieve. All the gold is coming to the top, but that causes a lot of rumblings that are uncomfortable. All of our pieces of gold, we're bumping against each other. Ow, that hurts. I broke my arm. I'm bruised here. That hurts, but all of the stuff that doesn't have inherent value, that isn't acting from a place of authenticity, that is being intentionally manipulative for the sake of their own personal gain or the gain for a small select group of people, ain't gonna work after 2027, at least not in the same way. It's like people may get in very quickly, but they leave very quickly. What I'll say in tandem to that is that I think that this rhetoric around 3D versus 5D consciousness right now, and I explained this to Larry in our reading, and he was like, oh, that actually makes so much more sense, is that the 3D just means the people that are staying stuck in their sob story when things get tough, and they just they talk about the reasons that things have to be continually hard and focus on the negative, are staying in that 5D, versus those of us that are here, all of us here right now, that are looking towards the way to find joy, even in the face of adversity, are the ones that are going to go like this, right? And to the point of where he gets a little bit more woo-woo, to use the buzzword, is talking about how there's going to be more kids essentially that are diagnosed with autism, or that it's like what we're starting to see with that podcast, the telepathy tapes, of like other people connecting on a telepathic level. It happens now. Me typing and Alan Ting being like, Brenna, pay attention to me. What, like, without, or Brenna, I'm over here, hello. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I see you. And more of that happening where I'm like, I just have to look at you. And even though this usually was only happening with people that we knew in our lives, we can look at each other and exchange a glance, even if I just met you on the street and we know what we're saying. So exactly. Perspectively different worlds, 1,000%. I feel like it's gonna be this weird, I feel it now in my own life where, like, because I moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, it'll be 2 years next month in 2 weeks. I was looking for new community. And so I met my massage therapist, who I love. She's became a close friend of mine, Megan. We're at the same age. She's an Aquarius sun, Pisces rising. I'm a Pisces sun, Aquarius rising. So we're like inverted. She's a Libra moon, which is why I like her for, like, if I share things with them, like, let me know if I'm being too Scorpio right now. Excuse me, reflect back to me. But all that to say, there was like a group of women that I had connected with to do like a women's circle. And there are some people, or one person in particular, but a couple people that are pretty well versed in like the TikTok space, and a couple people that have, like, I'm talking like New York Times bestseller, like, people that were in this women's circle. And I was sitting at this table with them for one of their birthdays in September. And the woman across from me is a New York Times bestseller. A lot of you probably know her on TikTok, right? And in that space, or just in general, maybe or may have not seen her. It was kind of like she got a lot of followers at the time, that there was also a lot of spiritual bots. So I'm like, okay, you have all these followers, but like, how many people are like real people at the same time? Because a lot of people are like scammers, whatever. But still, a New York Times bestseller, doesn't matter, right? There's a certain amount of followers that you need to be even considered like on the New York Times list, whatever. And I was at that table and I was watching this woman who talks about manifestation and spirituality and doing things, actively talking shit about a woman 2 seats down from her, instead of just turning to her and being like, I don't think that's actually true, or I don't think that that's true. Why are you talking out of the side of your mouth to somebody right next to you? Which is like the exact opposite of what you stand for. And I'm like, those are the types of people that ain't going to make it much farther in 2027. They may have made it this far. They may have cashed out early, but it's like, if they don't actively try to change that or notice that red flag in themselves, that's not going to last any longer. Right. And I'm like, that's crazy. And for me, I'm like, I don't care enough to like expose this person, and not all of their traits are bad, but I was like, that's crazy. Cause like a lot of people wouldn't support you if they saw what was happening in real time. I know that she has the channel of judgment, and I'm like, you know what you should say when you have the channel of judgment? Talk to that person and be nice about it as to why you respectfully think that they're wrong, right? Argue in a good way, right? Argue with your facts. Don't you? And I knew from what the criticism was that she actually didn't have all the facts in the situation. She was projecting what she thought this woman was talking about, right? Without me giving the details, which I know is annoying, but just to say it lightly. And so it's like a little bit of that split too. And I was like, I am okay with leaving that group of people, even though they look really good on paper. I could, have all the human design readings I could read for all of their families in that group. I could have probably made $10,000, $20,000 just at this point extra, just by being in that group alone. But I don't want to be in that space. I don't want to be in that circle, of people who tell each other how great they are, and then, walk on the metaphorical backs of people that they're sharing a meal with at a dinner table and be dismissive and rude to them. Like, I don't want to be in that space. And that's where we're talking about 3D, 5D as well. And I'm like, I'm not going to be a part of your woman's circle just because you say that you're going to be in a woman's circle and want good for women, but then actively talk poorly about other women at a table behind their back. Absolutely not. Yeah, me too. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what the hell is even that? It's like that TikTok audio, that old, I think it was a Vine. I'm like, I'm not, like, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. And now one of them, they actually asked me to, for the other women, kind of created an offshoot, and they have this festival that they're doing, and they asked me to be a vendor. And I was like, no. And also I made it hi, welcome. They don't, if it's somebody's first time doing something, I decided from personal preference as well, I'm not a guinea pig practitioner. I've just done too much. I've worked in events. I just know how things are run. And I know when like that is not good. There's nothing that's going to happen at that festival that is going to be nothing more than a headache for me. Absolutely not. So that is, again, also part of the 2027 split. It's not as like aliens roaming the earth and there's 3D people that look human, and that can be true also, but it's not going to be like, bleep blurp, I'm, all these kinds of people like walking around and all these amoebas floating in the sky. Like, I don't feel like 2027 is going to hit and it's going to be that, like some people make it out to be. I don't think it's as dramatic as people want to sensationalize. More proof, and I hate all that. Yeah, and if you are that way, at least be real about it. Exactly, more proof of your integrity. Exactly, like tell me where you feel tell me where you want to judge me, right? Or tell me where you have a difference of opinion that is us coming to common ground. And maybe if you let me explain myself rather than your ego wanting you to be right, we could actually get somewhere. We are all aliens. Yeah, people know what aliens truly are. Aliens is such a broad word. Like such a broad word. That's where my fiance always says that on Earth we are the invasive species, and I do actually really believe that. I do believe that. It doesn't. If you really look, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't understand why people have to be so petty and mean. I know. It's so rude. I'm like, what are we in high school? Like, you're 40 years old. Like, grow up. Like, come on. This is embarrassing. Yeah, I see that too. Love the way you put it. I believe that evolution happens in the reverse. So like if something was true, it becomes untrue later. I love that perspective. I feel like you could write a whole book on that. Just saying. It's perspective. Yeah. The kid who were told, the kid who were told that they were the best, now being told they have issues type vibe. Yes, exactly. Oh, you're going to be great. You're going to graduate with high honors. And then they graduate college and they're like, I don't want to do anything. I'm burnt out. Yeah. We do need a therapy group for burned out spiritual creators. It's true. But I think it's like, it's part of the practice in our own spirituality to like not let ourselves get to the point of burnout and work a system. Like it's my gate 28, right? I'm here to play a game. If this system's going to play me, I'm going to play it back. Like, it's like, if I know the way that you work, I'm balls also back in your court now. I've shot my shot. I think I might be headed to the deep end towards the light. Yeah, towards the light, though. I feel that. Why do I think I know who you're talking about? I be peeping two-face energy. You may know. Nini, message me, DM me on TikTok or Instagram. Yeah, I just don't understand why people have to be so petty and mean about silly stuff. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I agree with him. Yes, I agree, right? I know. Because you could be right and still help others without retaliation. It's true. Anything you don't understand can be considered alien. It's true. Yeah, it's part of the self-awareness expansion, content creating in a authentic way. Also cresting. I'm just ready for our systems to integrate and stop fighting, dance it out. It's true. And I think like I am aware of the work that we really have to do so that like for me, like Trick, the best way I could describe it is like if I could make you the Rapunzel that's like in the castle or the princess in the castle that I keep safe because I'm in the battlefield, I feel that is like a good use of our energy. Like I can have the confrontation, right? Mars on my ascendant. I can have with Mercury, right? It's easy for me to find the words to be like, no. There's a funny, I know you guys know, I think the Basement Yard podcast, and Joey, who's one of the guys that's on there, is also a Pisces like me. And a good way to also explain that info or those words or finding the words immediately, right? If I'm the person that's going to be on the battlefield, is like he can really easily identify exactly what somebody looks like. So he was like, Clint Eastwood looks like a cigarette. And like immediately you're like, Oh my God, he does. And I was like, I feel like because us Pisces, we're like, we've seen and heard it all, where we're like, he does look like a cigarette. And it's not in a mean way. It's just like, he just has the vibe of a cigarette. Like his aura is cigarette. And he would be like, yeah, I identify with that. So it's like that kind of, it's easy for me to pull it out like that. Wasn't always that way, but my pure manifesting generator channel, is also my design side. So it took time to know, like, okay, gut instinct to my throat. I know exactly what that, how to identify something. It's almost like in those movies where you see, like, say, like, we just watched National Treasure a couple weeks ago, and it's like where you have like those bio scans, and like you look at somebody and like say, I got this from a vintage store, really pretty. It's like, say this is a person and I do a scan, I'm like, got it. I know the energy, I know your lore. I know, like, it's almost like if I took Chinese face reading, human design, and astrology, and I was like, okay, I know all of your lore by just what I'm responding to in front of me. Even if there's no information is still information. No profile picture is still information. Right? Like that same vibe. So anyway, but my bladder is officially going to burst because, of course, I was on for like 25 minutes longer, half hour longer. I don't even remember when I said I was going to get off. But I'm going to transcend into my nighttime routine and rituals, gate 5 of me, and get something to eat. So, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. And I feel the same way about you, even though I know you haven't shared anything yet, but I know that you're meant to. So I hope that you find a way to find comfort in content creation and meeting yourself where you're at to not feel like it's as crazy. It doesn't have to be as crazy. And I think my whole community here and you being a part of it is proof that, like, I'm creating content actively, but it doesn't have to be as crazy if you have really strong energetic boundaries for not letting people come into your world that aren't meant to be here. Very quick, hacking them out, machete in the jungle sort of way. So thank you guys so much for being here. It was so good to see you. I love you all. Have a beautiful Wednesday. I will be over on the other application. You're welcome. The other application tomorrow doing live mini readings and then chatting with you guys in between. So I hope you guys all have a good night or a good morning, depending on where you are in the world. And I will see you guys tomorrow or back here next Wednesday. Have a good night.